Welcome to Delta Cable Television Community Programming. DCTV serves the areas of North Delta, Ladner, Tawasin, and Point Roberts. Our goal is to provide informative, entertaining, and educational programming, highlighting the people and events in our areas. If you would like any information regarding community television or would be interested in becoming part of our volunteer production team, please call us during regular business hours at 946-1144. We hope you enjoy today's community programs.
DCTV Sports proudly present Vancouver Giants exhibition hockey from the Ladner Leisure Center. Tonight's matchup, visiting Chilliwack Bruins take on the 2007 Memorial Cup champions, the Vancouver Giants. Hello everyone and welcome to an exhibition broadcast of the Vancouver Giants and the Chilliwack Bruins from the Ladner Leisure Center. I'm Steve Erickson. So pleased to be doing this once again. As ever, this is such a nice matchup for these two. Each year, it seems that we do the rival between Kelowna and the Vancouver Giants. This one's some unique, but it's also very, very impressive to notice that the Vancouver Giants this year are the defending Memorial Cup champions. Last year, getting defeated out by Medicine Hat and coming virtually through the back door to go through to that very, very prestigious trophy for Canada. Nice to have the boys on tap, and Mr. Toigo and group have put together an exceptional team going into this upcoming season. We're going to throw it up to the broadcast booth with Joey and Bill.
Thanks very much, Steve. And yeah, I'd like to refer to the Giants winning the Memorial Cup, getting there, going through the side door rather than through the back door. Yeah, they were the hosts at the Pacific Coliseum last May, but they were far and away the best of the four teams that were representing their respective leagues. And Bill, when you look back to cap off what was another giant year of junior hockey in the Lower Mainland, it finished with an unbelievable storybook finish, didn't it?
It was a great Western Hockey League final against the Medicine Hat Tigers for one thing, and they even capped that. It even got more exciting in that Memorial Cup tournament in Vancouver. And I agree with you. It was going to be very difficult, Joey, to beat the Vancouver Giants in their own building with the kind of crowd that they had for that tournament. It was fantastic.
We'll talk a little bit more about the Giants in a few moments. Let's talk for a few minutes, though, about their opponents tonight and a team that they've built up quite a rivalry with. And don't think for one second that the Chilliwack Bruins are in the mood for a sophomore jinx. They've got a lot to prove here as a second-year team this year, don't they?
They haven't made a lot of changes. Let me say that for starters. And number one, you know, you talk about rivalries, Joey. They only won one game out of 13 against Vancouver last year. But here's the thing. You remember that game you and I did in Chilliwack when the Vancouver had to score late in that hockey game to get the win? I think that was the last game of the season.
Yep.
Then they went into the playoffs, and they did win a game, Chilliwack did, but here's the key. They never shook hands after that fifth and final game. First time in WHL history that that's ever happened. And where am I going with this? That's a rivalry. That's a rivalry building up. Now, Vancouver won 3-2 in a shootout in the game the other night in Chilliwack. I think the Bruins are here tonight to even things up. I think it's great for the fans.
And the Bruins, that game, had a 2-0 lead at home. The Giants had to score twice to force a shootout, and they came away, as Bill mentioned, with a 3-2 victory. This Chilliwack team is led by a pretty decent bench boss. Let's now catch up with Steve Erickson, joined alongside Chilliwack's head coach, Jim Hiller.
Joined by the head coach for the Chilliwack Bruins. Jim, last time you and I spoke, you were over in Port Alberni coaching the Alberni Bulldogs. A bit of a change for you.
Yeah, it is. You know, I love my time over in Port Alberni. I think if you're going to coach in the BC Hockey League, there's no better community than in Port Alberni. But certainly, awfully thankful to be back in this league. And you know, with Chilliwack, we had a pretty good year.
You got called to go up. Were you surprised at the call that you got from the Bruins?
No, I don't think I was surprised. I certainly was honored. I felt that, but not surprised. I had known the general manager and the owner from my days in Tri-Cities as an assistant coach there. And we'd had pretty good success in Port Alberni for 2 years, and I felt like I was ready, and you know, I thought the interview process went pretty well, and obviously it did because I got the job.
And you're in your second full season. What do you bring from last year to this year?
Well, I think we were able to accomplish our goal last year, which was to try and build an identity for our team. And you know, what we set out to do was become definable. When other teams were thinking of the Chilliwack Bruins, we wanted them to think of a team that played fast, that played with tenacity, and also employed a fair amount of discipline. And I think we were able to accomplish those three things. And the second half of the year, we had a great run and set ourselves up for an exciting playoff series versus Vancouver. This year, of course, the challenge is to build on all those things again and remind people what it means to be a Chilliwack Bruin.
How many players do you lose going into this year?
Yeah, fortunately for us, we only lost 4 players. We had three 20-year-olds and a goaltender that was 19 years old that ended up moving on. So, not a lot of turnover that way, which is really good. But again, it's always a tough league, and everybody seems to get better every year, and it'll be a challenge for us again this year.
And lastly, you hired my buddy Bobby Rouse to be the assistant coach.
Is that Bobby's a buddy of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, that's why I did it. Bob is a great guy, as you well know, being a friend of his, a great wealth of experience, first-class guy. And I think he's just going to rub off on all our organization. The players, of course, the obvious one, but us as coaches, managers, office staff, to have a person of that quality and that have accomplished as much as he has through a long NHL career just benefits the whole group.
Well, not only do you have a successful organization out there with proper ownership, you've got a great facility to play out of and all that. And we really want to congratulate you on everything you've done and wish you all the best for the future.
Thanks. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
You got it.
Our Steve Erickson alongside Bruins head coach Jim Hiller, whose team will be without some familiar top guns tonight. There will be no Oscar Moeller or Mark Santorelli. Those are 2 of their top 3 returning scorers from last season, both away at NHL camps. We'll talk more about that as our broadcast rolls along. But as for the hometown Giants playing in their hometown practice facility here at the Ladner Arena, they're without some familiar faces too, Bill, but there's a lot of returning vets from that Memorial Cup squad that are going to see action here in Ladner in front of a sellout crowd.
You go to 2 Memorial Cups, as Vancouver has, you get all those extra games. You probably get, 40 or maybe 50 games of total playoff hockey, and they're all meaningful games. So that's a great thing. But the thing that you look at when you look at tonight's lineup before you watch the game, the Giants have 5 16-year-olds in the lineup, and that every one of those 16-year-olds is a Bantam 06 draft. Now, they're not all going to stick, but they're getting exposed in a game like this to Don Hayes coaching. Then guess what happens? They make their final cuts, and then Michael Repik comes back, Spencer Mahancha comes back, Milan Lucic comes back, Jonathan Blum comes back, and all likelihood they all come out, Tyson Sexsmith. So you go from having all these 16-year-olds play tonight to going back and getting all your veterans back. And I think this is going to be a very good Vancouver Giant team.
You mentioned Don Hay, a guy that's got his name again on the Memorial Cup. He has it for a record 4th time after a fantastic run for the championship at the Coliseum last May. Let's now join Don Hay with our own Steve Erickson.
Joined by the head coach, Memorial Cup champions for the Vancouver Giants, Mr. Don Hay. That's a nice title to be filled with.
Yeah, it is. It's that was last year, and this year's a new year, and we've had a really good training camp and exhibition season, and we're looking forward to getting going this year and starting off with a new group of guys.
I guess the ultimate question is, as you start this season, did it ever finish from last year? Did it just carry on?
Well, I think that it was a short summer. Obviously, 2 years in a row we've gone to the Memorial Cup, and we definitely came back in with a great attitude. Our veteran guys, they all came back in real good shape, and it's a good sign that they're starting to raise the standard that our hockey club goes by, and our expectations are high again this year.
That says a lot about what the coaching staff and the ownership want from the team, though.
Well, I think that we've really established ourselves as one of the premier franchises in the Western Hockey League, and when you win, it's pretty enjoyable. So you like to keep on winning, and there's a reason why we have success, and because we put a lot of effort into it, and it starts with your ownership and management group, coaching staff, and office staff, and the players. And when you get a commitment from everybody, things kind of fall into place.
You got a lot of the players that aren't in the lineup tonight. They're at National Hockey League training camp. I believe Tyson Sexsmith is back, just come back from the San Jose camp, but Milan is one of them that's not here tonight.
Well, I think we have 4 guys away right now. Milan, Michael Repik, Spencer Mahachuk, and John Blum. So they're all away. They're all obviously high draft picks by their team, and they've gone on to the main camp after going to their rookie camp. So I think it's very deserving of those guys to go and play against NHL caliber players. So the reports we've gotten back so far is that they're all been doing well, and we all expect them back.
It must have been a nice feeling watching Milan lift that championship trophy between the Canada-Russia series.
You know, almost looked like he didn't know what to do with that trophy. So, you know, it was a great experience for Milan. You know, he's come a long ways from playing here with the Delta Ice Hawks, the Junior B. So, you know, to be captain of Canada's World Junior team. So, you know, it is a very proud, you know, we're proud of him as a Giants organization. I'm sure his parents and the Boston Bruins are very proud of him also, but he's a real fine young man from a really good family.
That's what I asked him when the game finished last week between Canada and Russia. I went out and I said, you've come a long way from East Vancouver. Did you ever expect to host a trophy? And he said no. He said, I was quite surprised.
Well, you know, he's definitely the leader of our hockey club. He's worked for everything that he's gotten in his hockey career, and you know, not only is he a committed young athlete and a committed young man, you know, he works on the ice, off the ice. He does a lot of community events for us here in Ladner and around Vancouver area. But he's very involved, and you know, very fitting that he's going to be our leader this year.
And last, before we let you go, Don, you just recently had your one contract torn up, and you signed a new contract to be the head coach for the Vancouver Giants. Rumor had it that with the sale for the Kamloops Blazers in part, and of course Jerome Iginla being one of the people that was leading that they might have tried to entice you to come back to Kamloops and coach the Blazers.
Well, I guess that's all rumors, but I know I'm really happy where I'm at. I'm happy working with the group of people that I'm here with. You know, Ron and Scott and Craig do a great job, and my family's really happy in the Ladner-Tawasin area, and you know, great organization. I really enjoyed here, and that's why I stayed.
Well, congratulations on all the success, and it'd be nice if we could see another one next year.
Well, we're going to do our best.
Okay, thanks very much, Don.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys, and what a pleasure it is to have Don Hay back for another number of years behind the Giants bench, leading the coaching staff. And let's be honest, this is one of the most complete teams on and off the ice the WHL has seen in quite some time, Bill.
It's such an amazing journey to watch Don Hay from the start of the season to the end of the season, not only on the ice but off the ice. It's very special.
Now, obviously, hockey is the #1 priority for players in the WHL, but there's another big priority that sometimes doesn't get enough attention. Steve Erickson has another Steve to talk more about that. Steve, take it away.
Thanks very much, Joey. I'm joined by the education advisor for the Vancouver Giants, Mr. Steve Farah, and you've also seen him around Delta because he's with the Delta Sports Hall of Fame, just recently retired. But Steve, your title with the education advisor, that's a big title for the Giants.
Well, we take education very seriously with the Giants, and so I'm there to make sure that they get through school this year, and we've had success last year, and we got 11 new ones this year.
You had a good percentage last year. You were telling me it was a B+ or a B?
Yeah, our overall average for all our courses last year, Steve, was 73%, and we're taking that as a low B, but that's a B. We're taking it very seriously.
You know, that's a big concern because a lot of parents, they send their kids to play minor hockey, especially at the junior level, and they're always concerned. Are they going to go to school? Are they heavily involved? And how involved is the junior program, the team with them to get that?
Well, we are very involved. In fact, Don Hay tells our guys that you got school and you got hockey this year. That's basically it. And we're very serious about them keeping up their academics so they don't go on road trips, they don't play in some of the games. It's a very serious issue with us.
Now, on that note, who has the call for whether they make a road trip, you or the boss?
Well, I recommend certain things, and the boss usually says yes or no to it, but he usually says yes. If I make the recommendation, it's usually yes from Don and Craig Bonner and Scott Bonner.
I know, Steve, the whole program has changed right now. Congratulations for everything you do, especially now that you're not involved with the Delta Sports Hall of Fame. We look to see you around the community a little more.
Well, I hope to spend a lot more time with the Giants. We have a wonderful group of guys in the school this year, South Delta Secondary. We have great teachers, and we're looking forward to a great year.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. We're going to take a little bit of a break and come back with the opening faceoff for this exhibition game between the Vancouver Giants and the visiting Chilliwack Bruins right after this timeout.
welcome back to the Ladner Arena, the home of the Vancouver Giants Training Center, as it is time for Western Hockey League exhibition action. The final game of the WHL preseason for the defending Memorial Cup champion Vancouver Giants. That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Today, taking on their arch rivals from the Fraser Valley, the Chilliwack Bruins. Hello once again, Joey Kenward and Bill Wilms in the broadcast booth, as this is the 7th and final preseason game this month for Vancouver. They've got 4 wins, a loss, and a tie. Today's referees are Matt Kirk and Sad Al-Jadir. Linesmen are Mike Bassford and Bevan Mills. Puck has been dropped, and we are underway with the first period of action here in Ladner, a period that'll see the Giants move left to right, and quickly Chilliwack is whistled down on an icing call.
Well, I think one of the players that everybody's quite interested in from a Vancouver standpoint is newcomer Chris Cloud for Vancouver. He wears number 32 tonight, a 19-year-old from way Capo in Manitoba. Don Hayes looking for him to really give them some toughness. Played for Saskatoon last year. Quick lineup change, or quick change of lines out there. We're ready to drop the puck.
Giants win possession off the face-off. Another newcomer for Vancouver this year, Mike Berube, wearing number 4 on defense, moves it up to center. Puck gets deflected back into the Giants territory. Now it comes through to the neutral zone for veteran forward Tim Krause. He'll pound it in deep. Starting goaltender for the Giants today is 16-year-old rookie Jamie Tucker. At the other end of the rink, the starting goalie for Chilliwack is number 33, 17-year-old Mark Friesen. Puck is to his left-hand corner. Garrett Hunt on the forecheck, tying it up along Bruins rear guard Cody Hobbs. Hobbs kicked it free to the corner. Now it came onto the stick of Krause. Looking for Hunt. He's spilled to the ice, so that's going to be a penalty coming up as Matt Meropoulos hauls down Hunt. Delayed call now coming from referee Matt Kirk, who has his arm raised in the air. And quickly, 56 seconds into the first period, Bill, the Giants are going to get to work at a power play.
And isn't it interesting? It comes off a forecheck, and it's Garrett Hunt on that forecheck. Not surprised that Krause, him, and Henry are the guys going in deep. And usually when you get a good forecheck started, that forces a team to really start looking over their shoulder. And so often when you can't get that puck out, you start thinking, I've got to take somebody down. And there you see the signal. The trip is called. Vancouver goes on the power play.
Giants will start a forward unit of James Wright in between Craig Cunningham on the right side and Lance Boma on the left wing. All 3 into their second year in the Western Hockey League. All 3 as 16-year-old forwards last season. Giants set it up. Brent Regner working the blue line with Mike Berube. Berube has the puck, puts it to the right half boards for Wright. Wright throws it down low into the corner for Boma. Back he goes to the line for Berube. Returning to Boma. Boma trying to get away from the check of Kevin Boudelier. Boudelier whacks the puck to the line, not out. Kept in nicely by Regner. He'll whip it around the goal of Friesen. Bruins corral it though, and their veteran D-man on defense, Nick Holden, will drill it all the way down ice.
Joey, obviously one of the big things to look for this year is who's going to quarterback that power play. It was Paul Albers 2 years ago. It was Franson last year.
Boma on the rush, throwing it to the slot. Right redirects it just wide. Puck back down to the low corner boards. Michael Proudly for the Bruins. Snaps it up the boards. Can he clear? No. Cunningham intercepts for Vancouver. Puck now to the line for Regner. Regner returning to James Wright. Cross zone feed will find Berube. He's pressured. He'll go off for a change, not before chopping it in deep. Puck ringed around the goal by D-man for the Bruins, Matt McHugh. This will clear the zone, and the Chilliwack squad makes a change on the PK. 50 seconds to go, and the penalty to Matt Meropoulos. Giants, Bruins scoreless early in period 1. Evander Kane taking it free behind the Bruins net. Backhand wraparound through across the goal mouth wide. Puck back to the right side wall. Neil Manning on defense lets a shot go through a screen, kicked away by Friesen. Mike Peluso with a rebound from long range, stopped, and it's covered up by Friesen with a big dog pile ensuing in the crease around the Chilliwack goaltender, as the Giants, a little unlucky, Bill, not to have capitalized with the man advantage.
You look at the defense. Regner, a nice job along with Berube on the power play. And you know, I have to credit the Chilliwack Bruins for doing a very good job on the PK. But this last little sequence was a nice shot by Manning from the point. And it was a wrist shot. It was low on the ice. I think we got a chance to look at it, Joey. And the nice job of forechecking to get possession of this shot. That's Manning's shot right along the ice. Now watch the Giants forecheck. That puck on the far left. Look how quickly they get over there to get that puck and get one more shot on net. Good job by Mike Mike Peluso.
Now, while the replay has been shown on your screen, there's been a lot of extracurricular activities on the ice, and you see veteran Mike Wookdrel slow to get to his skates, and he was dropped to the ice by D-man Matt McHugh. Now, I don't know if it was a spear or a punch or anything like that, but McHugh has been directed to the box after his D partner Dylan Chapman has already sat down, and now Wookdrel will make his way to the sin bin for the Giants. And we talked about it off the top, Bill. This rivalry was put to another level at the final buzzer of round 1 of the WHL playoffs last spring, and it's spilling over a little bit here into the early going of the exhibition season.
Well, you know, this is the last game, if I'm not mistaken, for Vancouver in the preseason. The Chilliwack Bruins play tomorrow in Kelowna, so you're getting at the point now where it's a short strokes, folks, and you really want to have your lineup picked. And you see the referee making the calls there, and I agree, Matt McHugh, 6'5", 201-pounder from Cochrane for the Chilliwack Bruins, come back from a free agent tryout with Minnesota just very, very recently. He's a kid they got from Spokane. You see some unsportsmanlike calls there. The long and the short of this, Joey, is there still is 31 seconds remaining in the penalty to Matt Meropoulos of the Chilliwack Bruins. That's what's up on the clock. I don't know if this will all cancel out or not.
Well, I have a feeling, just based on the body language from referee Matt Kirk, who's now issuing his explanation to the guy that will likely wear the captaincy for Chilliwack this season, D-man Nick Holden, that the extra minor is going to the Bruins, and that extra minor comes in that infraction assessed to D-man Chapman right at the, or excuse me, McHugh, well after the stoppage in place. So Vancouver, instead of restarting play with a 5-on-4, will have a 5-on-3 man advantage for a little more than half a minute.
This year, there are 10 new refs working WHL games this year. 2 won't be back. Kyle Raymond, he's refereeing in professional hockey, mainly in the American League. And great Rob Matsuoka, one of my favorites, is retired. So you see Matt Kirk there. He's got his hands full in this game early. It's a 2-man advantage for Vancouver. Face-off in that Chilliwack zone. Face-off, so important.
And that draw is won by Tim Krause. Mitch Sibert taking it to the blue line for big D-man Uri Valek. More on him in a moment. He'll give off to D partner Brent Regner. Back to Valek, returning to Regner. Down low right side to Sibert. Back to Regner. Now for Valek with a one-timer. Kick-away save on a good pad stop by Friesen. Bruins fail to clear. Krause taking it back off the wall. Gave it away to Holden, and he'll snap it out of his own zone. 5 seconds to go in the 5-on-3 man advantage for Vancouver. 3 minutes gone here in the first. Giants and Chilliwack still scoreless here in Ladner. Now the penalty to Meropoulos is out. Puck at the line for Regner, giving it to left half boards. Off for Berube. Cross zone, or make that Krause. Cross zone feed to Valek. Now to Regner. Shot deflected high and over the target by Zibert's stick. Krause in pursuit of the puck. Gets control down low for the Giants. Weaves his way behind the net. Backhands it high to the slot to Valek. Returning to Krause, who's on the right boards. Cycling it behind the Bruins goal. Zibert tracking it down. Dishes off to the stick of Chris Cloud. Cloud to the line for Valek. Winds up, fires. Just deflected off the stick of D-man Boudelier. Now it's in the slot. Zibert couldn't get a whack onto it. It now gets to the right wall for Krause. 50 to go in the power play. Giants making a change or two with the extra skater. Krause with a wrist shot. Blocker saved by Friesen, and the Bruins this time clear it all the way down ice.
Chilliwack doing a terrific job killing this penalty.
Here's Craig Cunningham up the right wing. Shot deflected off Boudelier's stick into the end netting and out of play. Good puck movement though by Vancouver on the power play. Just not able to get a good quality scoring chance around Friesen.
I like the activity of the Chilliwack Bruins sticks. They had very, very active sticks. They had the sticks in the passing lanes and the bodies in the shooting lanes. Not many pucks got through.
Off the face-off, Colby Kohanek, number 10 for Chilliwack, chops it all the way down ice. Still a half a minute to go here in the power play opportunity for Vancouver. Skating with it through center, James Wright. Stopped in his tracks by Kohanek. He'll push it back the other way for the Bruins and wheel off for a change. Maybe one more rush here for the Giants with the extra attacker. As Craig Cunningham taking it up the left wing, pushed to the glass by Donnie Glennie. Cunningham takes it free though, threw it to the crease, kicked off the skates of the pads of Friesen. Penalty is now out as Chilliwack clear it down ice, and Vancouver are 0 for 2 with the power play so far in period 1. We're still early here in Ladner. Giants and Bruins scoreless, 4:40 off the clock. Clearing it off his own glass is James Henry. Puck came to center. To the stick, though, of Glennie. He'll sweep it back down ice. Neil Manning took a bump low in his own zone from Braden Metz. Still did well to outlet it, and here come the Giants wheeling through the middle. On the puck is Mike Peluso. Long snapshot right to the breadbasket of Friesen. He'll cover up and get the whistle.
Goaltender for the Bruins is Mark Friesen, a 17-year-old from Winkler, Manitoba. And if that sounds familiar, that's where Blaine Neufeld was from, the backup last year for Vancouver. This guy played at the Pembina Valley Hawks AAA midget. 2.19 goals against average last year in the 40 games he played. And Joey, I know that Pembina Valley program in Manitoba has put out a lot of good hockey players.
Face off to Friesen's right-hand side. Kraus wins a draw against Meropolis. Garrett Hunt put it down low in the zone to Henry. Now it comes through the crease. Oh, Hunt just couldn't get his stick to the puck. Had Friesen beat if he could tuck it home, but though rolls to the corner boards. On it now for the Giants is Henry. Henry, a rookie forward from Winnipeg. Put it behind the net, failed to find Kraus with the feed, and Cody Hobbs for the Bruins clears it to the line, and eventually it comes to center. Puck bouncing in front of the Giants bench. Hunt has it in his skates. Took a body check from Colton Graff, and now we've got a penalty being whistled down here, and I'm not sure if it's going against a Giant or a Bruin. I think it might be going to Chilliwack, and it looks like Graff is going to the box. Or is it a Giant? No, it's going to be Tim Kraus sitting down on an elbowing minor. And this will put the Bruins on their first power play of the game.
One of the things that you do at this stage, well, you do it all preseason for that matter, and let's be honest, you evaluate all year long, but it is the playing of the defense position. One thing you look for is, do they pass the puck to exposed forwards? As you see Kraus's stats on the screen there, you know, defense that make a play to a forward that's going to be hit, no. And the other thing is, if you're tough, if you're competitive in your own zone, it really shows up in your work along the boards, Joey. And the other thing is, to stop the quick forecheck, your defense has to move the puck quickly. And every coach at this level looks for those three things in their defense.
So the Bruins on the man advantage will take the puck into the Vancouver end. Jaden Potter put it to the right half boards for Kulhanek. To the line, dishing for Holden. Back to Kulhanek, right face-off dot. Trying to get into the slot, but he's stopped on a good defensive play by a local D-man, Lyndon Sipe. He'll pass off to Mike Wookdrill, who immediately clears it the other way.
Did you see what Sipe did? How quickly he closed the gap on the Chilliwack player? That was the key.
Holden back through the middle for the Bruins. Gains the red line, taps it down ice. Berube first to it for the Giants. Took a bump on the glass by Cody Smuck. Helping out his D partner, though, was Uri Valek, and he's able to chip it all the way down on goal of Friesen. A minute gone and the penalty to Tim Kraus. We've got 13:33 to go in period one. Good action here in the early going, but no goals yet for either club. Bringing it to center for the Bruins, and hitting the line is Braden Metz. Metz passing off to Michael Proudly. Proudly down to the end board, sees Metz catch up to the disc. Gave it away, though, low in the zone to Berube. He'll pass off to Regner, and he's quickly able to clear it down ice for the Giants. Don Hayes' troops making some changes here on the PK. Craig Cunningham working up front alongside of Evander Kane. Defense pairing behind them are Neil Manning and Lyndon Sipe. Bruins out of their own end. See Hobbs dish it up the right side for Metz. Backhanding it low behind the net of Jamie Tucker. First to it for Vancouver was Manning. And a guy that's got a very promising rookie season ahead of him immediately backhands it to the other end of the ice. Evander Kane on the forecheck, causing some fits for Matt McHugh, and then he trips up McHugh, and that's going to be a penalty. Friesen will go to the bench to get the extra attacker out. Bruins, meantime, go the other way. Long snapshot by Hobbs, easily gloved and held by Tucker. And just as the penalty to Kraus expires, Bill, Vancouver is going to go back to work on the penalty kill.
You know, and it came after a terrific play back in their own zone to get it out of their own zone, and then a nice forecheck. But you know, Mike Proudly, Joey, he played 52 games last year. Now get ready for this. He had one goal, but it was an overtime winner in Red Deer, a goal he'll never forget. This is after a good break out of their own zone. Kane on the forecheck. That's one that I'm sure coaching staff will talk to him about. You don't need to trip the man. Keep your stick away from the play.
Kulhanek, right side face-off circle for Dylan Chapman. Shot, good pad save on the right side by Jamie Tucker with traffic around him. Bruins regroup. In the corner is Potter. Potter looking down low to Kulhanek. Kulhanek trying to get away from traffic, trying to get it to the line, but it's picked off by Boma, and the Giants sophomore forward dumps it the other way. Bruins Setting up out of their own zone. Holden, who's fresh off an appearance at Edmonton Oilers prospects camp, gains the line. Drop pass to Smuck. His shot deflected by Kohanek to the crease. Tucker, though, able to put his pads together, get the puck underneath, and cover up for the whistle. As you see a very up-and-coming promising goaltender in between the pipes for the Giants, one of their recent draft picks, Jamie Tucker.
That's the drop pass by Holden. Good shot on the net. That puck changes directions on the way to the net as Cody Smuck took the shot, got it along the ice, and a good job by Vancouver defenseman to clear traffic and let the goaltender Tucker freeze it for a face-off.
Puck behind Tucker's net now as Regner backhanded it up the boards, can't clear. Donnie Glennie at the right side of the blue line, winds up, fires, deflected to the crease. Tucker's seen it through a maze of sticks and skates, will get his glove to it and get the whistle. 63 seconds to go on the Bruins power play. Giants and Chilliwack still scoreless.
5'10", 160 pounds from Victoria, a Bantam 06 pick in the 4th round. Played Triple-A midget with Wanda Fuca last year. 2.23 goals against average, 35 games played. One last thing, both goaltenders tonight, Joey, obviously Tucker going to look for a backup spot to Tyson Sexsmith, and at the other end, Mark Friesen trying to be the backup guy to Matt Esposito, who I'm sure will start for the Chilliwack Bruins.
45 to go in the man advantage for Chilliwack. Puck back behind the Vancouver net to our left. Mike Peluso had it, can't clear though for Vancouver. Holden at the blue line. Poke checked off the puck by Peluso, and this time he's able to clear it out of his own end. Cody Hobbs for the Bruins, tapping it back down ice as Chilliwack makes some changes here. This gives Regner some time to hammer it all the way back into the Bruins territory. Stretching it up from his crease was Friesen. Finding it now to David Robinson. Robinson cycling it behind the net. Sight check from behind by Partik Bungle. That's going to be a penalty coming up here to the Bruins tough guy. Oh, and then Robinson took a run at Sight and paid for it. And then Dylan Chapman tries to get a hold of Sight as tempers start to flare up a little bit more here, Bill, with 40 seconds approaching the midway point here of a scoreless first.
I think both coaches will be very happy as to how their players respond in these situations. It's a 0-0 game, 10:40 left in this first period. Both teams have played well on the power play. Both teams have done a good job on the penalty kill. This is what causes this last skirmish. There's Bungle with a hit from behind. No question, it's a penalty. Now watch what happens hereafter. This is where you show up in the toughness department. Hey, sit down, Lyndon Sipe says to that guy right there. Arm up in the air, the penalty's called, and we remain scoreless.
Nobody has gone into the penalty box for Vancouver. Chapman and Bungle have, though, for the Bruins. So that negates Chilliwack's power play, and in 8 seconds, once play resumes, Vancouver will have a man advantage.
Joey should just mention real quick, Spencer Mahachuk led all Atlanta rookies in the tournament at Traverse City. He had 4 goals. Michael Repick from the Florida rookies, their tournament was in Ontario, 4 teams involved. He led Florida with 3 goals. Tied for best in the tournament. Tyson Sexsmith, how did he do in goal in San Jose in the rookies? He beat Anaheim 3-1, stopped 2 breakaways, made 3 big saves in a row to preserve the win. You know, when those guys like Mahachuk and Repick come back to this level from that kind of success at NHL rookie camps, how high do you think the confidence will be?
No question. Now we have play resume, but the Bruins have one too many skaters out on the ice. This should be restarting with a 4-on-3 in favor of Vancouver. Some tempers flaring there as Nolan Toigo jaws away with Matt Maropoulos. They'll meet each other for the face-off right outside the Giants' blue line. They mix it up again. Are they going to scrap? They want to drop the gloves, and they will. Matt Maropoulos from the Bruins and local boy Nolan Toigo square off and come together right in front of the Giants bench. Toigo trying to lead with some right hands. Maropoulos tying him up. Oh, now Toigo gets free with a couple of rights right in front of his teammates. Oh, and now catches Maropoulos with a right cross. And now he wrestles his opponent to his knees. Maropoulos staying in it, though, but he's paying for it as Toigo really lets loose now on his Bruins opponent. Maropoulos trying to get his jersey free, or his arm free out of his jersey. Toigo still connecting with right hands, and the fans are really into it here, as are his Giants teammates on the bench.
Don't you think, Joey, that a good uppercut can do a lot of damage in these situations? situations.
Meropoulos is staying in there against the sophomore Giant, but they'll be separated now. Neither player worse for the wear as the fans get to their feet here at the Ladner Arena.
From Matt Meropoulos' standpoint, from the Chilliwack Bruins, that's good. I think he had to try to change a little bit of the momentum around in this first period. It's been a lot of Vancouver Giants, but from Nolan Toingo's standpoint, a terrific way to answer back, and maybe got that momentum right back again for his Vancouver Giant team.
Now, during regular season play, these players would be able to return. However, the rules in the Western Hockey League exhibition see 5-minute majors come with an automatic game misconduct. So we haven't even hit the midway point
of the fight that probably lasted a good minute, one of the longer ones. I'm sure Jim Hiller thinks that his man fared well in that scrap, as did Don Hay. That lineup, why he's got the pen out right now is not to jot the penalties down, but to make the quick lineup changes that you have to make because Matt Meropoulos is out of the game.
All right, we're back to action, and now the Giants resume play with a 5-on-3 power play for a full minute 45.
Involved in a fight during an exhibition game.
Brent Regner taking the puck across the Chilliwack line. Puts it into the right-hand corner for Evander Kane. He'll give it back to the point to Regner. Cross zone, giving to Valek. Left corner, dishing to Kraus. Centering feed deflected through the slot. Puck caroms off the boards, and back out it goes to the neutral zone. The other Giant on the power play here is Wookdrill for Vancouver, as Kane penetrates across the Bruins blue line. Makes his way to the end wall. Holden tying him up, takes him to the glass. Puck pops free to the stick, though, of Wookdrill. Wookdrill dishing it down low for Kane. He'll get it back to the blue line for Regner. Regner holds, goes cross zone for Valek. Valek couldn't get a one-timer off, so he'll give it back to Regner. Regner down to the right face-off dot for Kane. Back to Regner. Cross zone to Valek. One-timer, pad save. Rebound, Kraus denied. Puck back to the line, though, for Valek. 50 seconds to go in the 5-on-3 for Vancouver. Kraus now high between the face-off circles. Lets a shot go, deflected just wide by Wookdrill's stick. Puck now through the crease. It's underneath Friesen as referee Kirk will, or make that Al Jadir will blow play down as the Giants, working that two-man advantage, nearly get it to perfection.
Yuri Valek is such an interesting case to me. He's just going off for a line change right now on the point. But I want to show you some cycling. It's a pretty good job that Vancouver does in moving players around. They finally get it to the net, but there was 2 or 3 players that did a nice job of rotating position. You see 6 white there to the left of the screen. That's Valek. He had gone in deep, and Kraus came back to the blue line.
Giants, 5 skaters against 3, still for 30 seconds. Cunningham, left point, gives to Manning. Cross zone to Berube. Backdoor feed intended for Cunningham, deflected off Hobbs' stick into the end netting, and a draw will stay inside the Bruins zone.
Mike Berube, a 19-year-old from Edmonton, is now the oldest Vancouver defenseman. Played last year with Red Deer. His most productive year of 3 in the WHL. Joe, you remember he started with Prince George.
Has the puck now at the right side. Shot hit up high and blocked by Boudelier. He feels that one. Berube regains control of the puck. At the point, gives it down low to the stick of James Wright. Hard cross zone feed. Got away from Cunningham. Now it's in the slot. The Boma shot stop. Rebound for Wright on a backhander. Where is it? It's loose. Now it's popped free behind the net of Friesen. Bodies all over the place. Cunningham comes away with the puck. Penalties are now out to Chapman and Bungle. And Bungle will take a feed out of his own zone. Leave it for Chapman on a partial break. Dylan Chapman on a backhand. Put it wide. It might have got a piece of the glove or pad of Jamie Tucker as we're back to 5-on-5 with the action continuing to heat up here in Ladner. Giants, though, whistle down for an icing, as the best scoring chance so far for the Bruins comes after they have a pretty decent penalty kill. 5 skaters against 3, Bill.
I think that was 2 terrific saves by Mark Friesen, and even maybe a more spectacular save by Jamie Tucker there. But, you know, Friesen, both players definitely trying to get that backup job. This is Bungle. Good speed for the big guy. Being chased in there by Berube. That took him off that puck just enough that Bungle couldn't get the real good deke to pull off for that play to end up behind the goaltender.
Giants and Bruins still scoreless. Here in the first period, 8:08 to go. Catching Western Hockey League exhibition action here on Delta Cable. Feed up the middle, intended for Boma, got away from him. Puck comes right to the crease. Friesen will leave it down for his D-man Holden. Quickly, headmans it through center. Couldn't get the pass to the stick of Donnie Glennie. Icing will be waved off. Lyndon Sight trying to get control in his own corner for Vancouver. Hacks it off to the end boards for D partner Valek. Failing to clear, though, for the Giants. Matt McHugh at the line. Shot intended, went wide of the target, and here come the Giants quickly the other way on the counterattack. Chris Cloud, can he get around Chapman? No, he can't. Henry throws a good hit on Chapman. Oh, it's going to be a penalty, though, coming up against Henry. He floored Chapman in the corner, what looked like a pretty good hit. Henry, though, is going to be going to the box as referee Al Jadir, with his arm raised in the air, is going to put Chilliwack on their third power play of the period.
I was talking earlier about Juraj Valek, such an interesting situation as you see the penalty being called. He wears that 6 white for Vancouver. Joey, this guy was projected to possibly be a late first-round draft pick, maybe a second-rounder. He went to the draft with his billets and never had his name called in 7 National Hockey League rounds. Juraj Valek, Vancouver picked him up in a trade for a European spot. I think Vancouver gave up their 55th pick in the Euro draft to get this Valek guy. I think Vancouver's in for a treat. I liked him last year. Big guy, he can skate, he's got a good stride, a little heavy-footed at times. I found that just fascinating. You'd be possibly ranked that high and not get picked at all.
He did represent his native Slovakia at the World Junior Championships last Christmas and is expected to be back at that tournament when it goes to the Czech Republic. Bruins are on a power play here as James Henry is in the box on an elbowing call. Holden, right side for Boudelier. Back to Holden at the point. Left face-off dot for Jaden Potter. Cross zone to Boudelier. Shot deflected off the arm of D-man Neil Manning. Bruins get control back at the disc. Getting it to the line. Boudelier. Cross zone feed to the left side. Deflected off the stick of Garrett Hunt. He can't clear, though, for the Giants. Potter passing off to Smuck. Smuck trying to get it back to the line. Pressured on the glass, though, by Hunt. Puck came free away from them. Colby Kohanek low in the corner for the Bruins. Gets help from Potter. They give it away, though, and Manning this time is able to snap it to the other end of the ice.
Neil Manning was in his own slot area, took a shot right in the wrist area, the arm area, got up, went into the corner of the rink, chased that puck, and eventually got it out of his own zone. What a nice shift.
Bruins dump it back in deep. They can't get control of the dumping, and Evander Kane is able to kick it free down ice for Vancouver. 45 seconds to go in the minor to Henry. Still scoreless. 6:06 to play here in the first between the Giants and Bruins. Chilliwack getting it back into the Vancouver corner. In on the forecheck. Getting it is Braden Metz. Metz pressure to the end glass by Berube. Michael Proudly also on the scene. Taps it free to the left corner. Hobbs. Can he get possession for Chilliwack? No. Giants fail to clear. McHugh make that. Will keep it in. Not for long as Mike Woodrow will bat it down ice and the Giants will make a line change.
Interesting battles in every corner of the rink, isn't there? That puck ends up in one side and there's players are battling for it.
Now a feed up the middle by McHugh misses everybody. That will be an icing call. And Chilliwack will go back to their own zone with 7 seconds to go in a power play. And this has been a very, very intense opening 14.5 minutes, Bill, and we knew it would be. Not only are players fighting for jobs on their own team, they also are fighting for bragging rights here in the lower mainland, because when you've got this kind of rivalry that continues to build and build game in and game out, you never want to be the team that's on the losing end of the scoreboard.
Chilliwack, as I said in the pregame show, 1 win out of 13 games against Vancouver last year, but they just felt that they really came on late.
Penalty coming up here in the Vancouver end. And there has been a bit of a parade to the penalty box here in the early going of this contest, and a cross-checking call this time is going to be motion against Valek. And this will put the Bruins on their 4th power play of the opening period.
Not the most physical guy, Juraj Valek, for a guy 6'7", 218 pounds, but likes the offensive part of the game probably more, but he will do the job physically as well. Hey, 5:12 left. Chilliwack now on a power play. Joey, I don't see the shots on goal, eh?
They don't have a shot clock here in the building, unfortunately, so we'll have to get it in the intermission. Probably pretty even with all the special teams play at both ends of the rink. Here's a scramble around the crease of Tucker. It comes to Hobbs, who shoots and scores. Cody Hobbs used a ton of traffic in front of Jamie Tucker to his advantage, and on the power play, the Bruins draw first blood.
They've managed to hang in there so far, Chilliwack has, and I say that because they've killed off a couple 2-man advantages. Now they get a chance to go on the power play. There's a cross-ice pass. This shot gets through. Now watch the black-shirted Bruins fight for that puck. puck. One of them, two of them, three of them, four Chilliwack Bruins in that area, and it's a question of who's going to get it. Hobbs does a nice job of taking it from his backhand to his forehand and depositing it into the Vancouver goal for a Chilliwack 1-0 lead.
Hobbs played just 27 games last year for the Bruins as a rookie D-man, never scored a goal. He gets one here, and Ladner putting Chilliwack in a 1-0 lead. 4:40 to go in the first. Chris Cloud to center for the Giants. Crosses the Bruins line. Goes wide right. A backhand attempt from a bad angle put wide of the target. Cloud got it back behind the net. Now he gives it away to Boudelier. And the Bruins will have a chance to break out of their own zone. Liam Dara hip check nicely outside the Giants line by Regner.
On the power play
Goes
by
back
number
in the zone.
6,
Let's get the call on
Cody
the goal.
Hobbs. The goal at the moment, unassisted. The time 15:01.
So Giants trying to pull back level here on home ice against Chilliwack. They get it back into the Bruins zone, give the puck away in the process. And Smuck is able to get possession back for the road team, and they'll regroup in their own zone. Good hard hit thrown by Garrett Hunt against Chapman on the forecheck. This keeps the puck down low in the Chilliwack corner. Kraus comes away with it for Vancouver. Looking back to the line, finding Sipe. Right point to Valek. Snapshot, never got through. Puck comes to Kohanik's stick, and he'll quickly lead the rush out of his own end for Chilliwack. Gaining the red line, he'll flip it in deep. First to it for the Bruins is Smuck. Bumped to the corner glass by Sipe. Sipe coming away with control will immediately outlet it for Hunt, and the Giants have some numbers in the attack. Hunt, can he get it up across the line? Yes, but he had Valek go into stride early and play his whistle down on the offside call.
You know, Jim Hiller, the coach of the Chilliwack Bruins, his team won one game of the first 15 last year as an expansion team, but you know, he said that was to establish their identity. They had to find out what kind of team they were going to be. And once they got that identity, they had some very successful trips to the prairies and really got going. And they were really a very solid hockey team for an expansion team last year. They didn't rival anything that Everett did when they came in the league as an expansion team, but boy, they were pretty darn good.
Puck bouncing back inside the Giants line. It rolls into the corner. Dylan Scholten, promising rookie D-man for the Giants, fails to clear. Donnie Glennie in the slot. Lets a shot through traffic go wide. Mets down on the end boards for Chilliwack. Pressured off the puck. This will come to Evander Kane, and he's able to sweep it out of his own zone. On the fly, finding Mike Peluso. Peluso jabbing it into the Chilliwack corner. Dodging a hit from Hobbs, the goal scorer in this game. Look roll for Vancouver, trying to get it free, and he can. To the line, he'll get it to Regner. Shot, never found the target. Berube pressuring in off the point. Stood up, got the puck free though to right. Spinning his way out of the corner. Caught up to by Boudelier. Boudelier working over right. Has it now onto the stick of Metz. He'll wire it down ice. It comes right to Tucker's crease, so icing is negated. With 2:22 to go in the first. Giants down 1-0. Right, back on the attack for Vancouver. Checked into the corner boards. Play continues. Hobbs took a bump on the glass from Cunningham. Cunningham trying to get it free for Vancouver. Pressure to the wall by Hobbs. Right though, missing a centering feed from Boma. Put a good hard hit on Partik Bungal. That forces a turnover. Boma to the right side for Valek. Hacking it back down low in the zone. Chilliwack intercept with Liam Dara backhanding it out of his own territory. Bruins now see the Giants bring it to center. Cunningham will deflect it high across the neutral zone. Couldn't find teammates with the puck. It does eventually get back to Cunningham's stick, and he'll take it himself up the right side. With his teammates making changes, he'll roll it in deep, and Don Hay will send 5 new fresh set of legs over the Giants boards for a change. Puck bouncing back through the neutral territory. Giants can't get possession. Hobbs content to put it back low into his own corner. Chapman content to flip it back all the way down ice for the Bruins. Pace slowing down a little bit here as now play is whistled down with the puck being deflected into one of the beams high above the ice. 1:13 to go here in the first. Chilliwack on a goal by Cody Hobbs on the power play, lead Vancouver 1-0.
Boy, passing that tradition down, that winning tradition, as that man there has been able to do over the years. You know, Joey, it's in the passing of the baton that it's dropped. Once you've got it, you usually hang on to it. And this is a lot of changes taking place on this Vancouver Giant team, and Don Hay making sure that that winning tradition stays with them. You know, that's how you repeat as Memorial Cup champions, as Don Hay has. Or Ryan Huska from Kelowna as a player played in 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 successive Memorial Cups, and now the head coach of the Kelowna Rockets. It's getting that tradition passed on to the guys coming up, the next group, the next wave of players. That's so tough to do. Once they get it, they don't drop it.
Face-off coming up outside the Vancouver blue line. Lenny wins the face-off against Krause. Michael Proudly for the Bruins will redirect it down ice. We've got under a minute to play here in the first. Giants trying to get back onto level terms here, down 1-0. Vancouver failing to clear out of their own zone. Boudelier at the blue line for Chilliwack. Has it hacked off of his stick by Kane. Kane can't spring his way through the middle for Vancouver. Proudly gave it away in his line to Schulten. He'll tap it back down ice for the Giants. 25 seconds to go here in the first period. Chapman in the neutral zone for Chilliwack. Steering it in deep. Manning left it free for Schulten. Can he clear? No. Robinson in the slot has a shot. Karam wide of the target. Proudly in on the forecheck. Spilled to the ice with Schulten on top of him. Puck is underneath him, and that'll draw a whistle. With 5.2 seconds to go here in the first period. We're going to have some penalties issued as well. Be sure to stay with us on our first intermission break. Steve Erickson will be joined alongside Giants #1 goaltender Tyson Sexsmith. Fresh off an appearance at his first NHL training camp with the San Jose Sharks. Tim Krause has been assessed a 10-minute misconduct. That's why he is heading off to the Giants locker room.
That's the pest right there. He played one game in Everett, in that Everett tournament, but Garrett Hunt trying to do what he does best. A 20-year-old is wearing that letter right there. That speaks volumes for what coaching staff think of that young man's play. There you see those stats, and those 156 penalty minutes, a lot of them what you would call good penalties. There are such things as stupid penalties and the ones that you don't mind to see players make. And Don Hay, right from his first experience with Garrett Hunt, said that he's just got to learn to channel his play on the ice so that he doesn't put himself at a liability for his hockey club.
Face-off won by the Bruins. It got away from Hobbs at the Holden at the line. Puck will go down ice as the buzzer will sound to finish off a pretty entertaining opening 20 minutes of play here in Ladner. And a power play goal by Cody Hobbs has the visiting Bruins up 1-0 on Vancouver.
Well, you know, from the Chilliwack Bruins standpoint, I know it's only exhibition, folks, but knowing in this building, this is a Vancouver Giants practice center. This is where they practice all the time. It's really their home, probably more so than the Coliseum is, Joey. They know that the Bruins knew they were going to be in tough early in this hockey game. I thought they did a pretty good job of righting the ship in that period and actually scoring on a power play to have this 1-0 lead.
Lots to talk about in our first intermission break. I believe we're ready to throw it down to Steve Erickson. Not quite yet for Steve Erickson so far. One thing to talk about, though, and I know this will be talked in the dressing room by both head coach Don Hay and as well head coach of the Bruins, Jim Hiller, discipline bill, because you cannot afford to parade yourself to the penalty box that often in the Western Hockey League because the teams are so skilled at this level to use the extra skater to their advantage. Sure, Vancouver didn't score on a power play in the first, but we're pretty unlucky without the goaltending efforts of Mark Friesen. Maybe the Giants are already on the scoreboard. And at the other end of the rink, give credit to Chilliwack, capitalizing on what was their fourth power play of the frame.
Obviously, discipline is always a factor, a huge factor. You don't want to put your team unnecessarily shorthanded. But having said that, I thought both teams did a pretty good job of killing the penalties. I thought they allowed the goaltenders to see a lot of the pucks. And Joey, the scrambles around the net, really there was only one that Vancouver lost, and that was the one that Hobbs was able to corral and take from his backhand to his forehand and scored the only goal of the period. But you're right, discipline's a big factor, but there's a fine line between still standing up for what's happening on the ice and playing that real close to the line game that hockey requires you to play.
All right, let's take a look at the only goal that was scored in the opening frame. And as we talked about, it came for the Bruins on the man advantage. And you talk about a big scramble around the crease of Jamie Tuckerbill.
Now there it is. That's that scramble. You know, your defense can only hold up so long. Look at the Giants trying to clear it, and then eventually there's a pretty good screen in that area by Chilliwack Bruin David Robinson that allows Hobbs to get that puck and get it on the net. That goal right now stands unassisted. Not too sure whether they'll make an assist or add assist to that or not, but it's the only goal that gives giving Chilliwack that 1-0 lead.
As we are approaching to throw it down to Steve Erickson, who's just beside ice level, and it looks like he is joined by our first intermission guest. Steve, take it away.
Very much, Joey. Indeed, joined by Tyson Sexsmith. Joey, this young man had just a great season last year. You got thrown into it a little bit, thrown to the wolves, so to speak, but you just come up unremarkable last year.
Yeah, it was what I always wanted to get a start in the Western Hockey League, and got up to a tough start there. And as a 16-year-old, kind of getting behind the 8 ball with the injuries and whatnot, and coming in as a 17-year-old, splitting duties with a 20-year-old, and a fairly good 20-year-old at that. And when the coach staff comes to me and says they're going to give me 50% of the games, it's a pretty good honor. And then when you're 12 games in and the other guy decides to leave, it's a great pat on your back when the coach staff comes to you and says that they want you to be their guy and they want you to lead you to a Memorial Cup.
How much of a change as far as focus did you have to change the focus of your game?
I don't think I changed it at all. Just, the mindset stays the same. You got to where you wanted to be, and you finally accomplished that, and you just got to go out there and prove everyone that doesn't believe in you that you can do it, and prove it to yourself that you know you can.
You backstopped the team last year to Memorial Cup. What an exceptional run that was.
It was great. The glue started to set. We made some trades at the deadline, and everyone came together there just after the trade deadline, middle of January, and we had some rough times, but that only makes it better, and that certainly happened with us, and we just kept building and building, and we got stronger and stronger, and we had the team that it took to win the Memorial Cup.
You ended up just coming back from training camp down in San Jose. How'd that go for you?
It was really good. It's a great organization to go. They developed some good goalies over the years, and I hope to be a goalie that they develop in the next few years. Anything that you had to work on from their point of view? Just getting quicker and faster across your crease. All your stuff comes pretty natural by this point in your career, and you just got to work on consistency and getting better each and every practice. From a goaltender's point of view, is it more important to build an upper body strength or the overall program in general? I'd say the overall program in general. You want to be an all-round athlete, and you want to be flexible. You don't want to be too bulked up, too muscle-based, because you got to be able to move across the net. And you want to be nice and flexible, so if someone falls on you or lands on you the wrong way, you know that you'll be able to take it, and you're not going to pull your groin or anything like that. So you want to be strong, but you want to have the endurance and the flexibility. You're in for a big run again this year, and you got big shoes to fill, because you did just such an exceptional job last year. You got to repeat that. Yeah, got to. All right, we're going to let you run. Thanks very much, Tyson, and good luck with the rest of the year. Thank you. Thanks very much. Ironically, both teams in this event tonight, the game, both teams hosting a championship trophy in the course of the summer. Ryan Burke bought the Stanley Cup out in the Chilliwack area, and of course Memorial Cup came to the Vancouver Giants area. We're going to take a bit of a timeout and come back with the second period faceoff right after this timeout.
Through 20 minutes of play at the Ladner Arena, the hometown Vancouver Giants trail the visiting Chilliwack Bruins 1-0. A power play goal by Cody Hobbs has the Bruins up 1-0 as we take a look at it. Joey Kenward and Bill Wilms back in the broadcast booth, and that really was the only good quality scoring chance, Bill, for the road team in the first period, and they took full advantage.
Shots on goal, Vancouver 10, Chilliwack 6. And I may have said this earlier, but I was talking with a couple people, reminding people that this Leisure Delta Ice Center here, Joey, is really the home advantage for the Vancouver Giants, simply because they play and practice, or practice rather, here all the time. So this is much more home ice advantage than even the Coliseum. And the Chilliwack Bruins, and that guy in goal right there, Mark Friesen, did a nice job of taking Vancouver or keeping them off the score sheet in that first period.
Now, in case you're just joining the broadcast, veteran forward, in fact, the guy that's got the most experience in the Western Hockey League of anybody in this Giants lineup this season, Tim Krause, his night is now complete, as late in period one, he picked up a double minor penalty for spearing, plus a 10-minute misconduct, and that was followed up by a game misconduct. We also had a first period scrap between Nolan Toigo of the Giants and Matt Maropoulos of the Bruins. In the preseason, when you duke it out, you get the early showers, so you will not see either of those players as we're about ready to get going with the second period of action.
Just a reminder, Tim Krause, one of 3 20-year-olds, Garrett Hunt, Mike Wookdrol, the other two.
And that man right there, head coach Don Hay, we'll see his bench shortened up a little bit more as we're underway with period 2 here at the Ladner Arena. And this period sees the Bruins start with the 5-on-4 power play, which will carry on for another 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's what's left in that double minor spearing penalty against Krause. Puck down on the Vancouver end. Trying to get control for Vancouver is D-man Mike Berube. Berube couldn't corral the disc in his own corner. Colby Kohanek will get control for Chilliwack. Take it to the right half wall. Tap it down low in the zone for Cody Smuck. A one-time former Giant. Smuck gets it to the line for Kevin Boudelier. Boudelier gave it away, and Berube for the Giants is able to rattle it all the way down ice. Stretch pass out of his own zone by goaltender Friesen, intended for Smuck, got away from him. Lyndon Sype, one of a handful of local boys on this Giants roster, is able to clear it back to the other end.
When you've got a 3-minute and 23-second power play as a Chilliwack has starting this period, sometimes you tend to get a little complacent thinking you got a lot of time to score, but that penalty winds down in a hurry.
Chilliwack get it back into the Vancouver territory. Uri Valek for the Giants fails to clear from his end wall. Puck stuck behind the goal of Jamie Tucker. Braden Metz for the Bruins had it hacked off of his stick by Sype, and he's able to clear it down ice for Vancouver. Don Hay will make a change on the fly with his team shorthanded for another 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Bruins gathering speed out of their own zone. See Metz on the puck. Metz trying to get around D-man Neil Manning. That won't happen, but the Giants fail to clear. Michael Proudly for Chilliwack, taking it to the right corner wall. Stops, looks back toward the blue line. Doesn't see anyone to pass to, so instead he puts it behind the goal of Tucker for Metz. He'll throw it across the zone for the goal scorer, Cody Hobbs. Hobbs steers it back behind the goal of Tucker. Centering feed by Metz, found Donnie Glennie, but he chopped it high and wide. Puck comes back to the left point for Matt McHugh. McHugh at the blue line, turns it over to Craig Cunningham, and he immediately drills it the other way.
Never once have the Bruins had clear possession of the puck inside the Vancouver Giants zone. That's a testament to good penalty killing, and again, a little bit of a power play. Again, a reminder that's missing guys like Mark Santorelli and Oscar Moeller, who are big factors for Chilliwack.
Now the puck gets deflected out of play inside the Bruins zone, and that'll bring a face-off. And what's interesting for some fans to watch now that maybe they haven't seen before, in the WHL, a face-off to restart play always has to start at a face-off dot. And because this clearing attempt occurred in the neutral zone, the face-off comes right to the center circle. That might take a little bit of getting used to for some hockey fans who traditionally see face-offs more in and around the blue lines when stoppages occur in the center ice area. A minute 20 remaining here in the double minor to Krause. Giants down 1-0 to Chilliwack. We approach the 3-minute mark of period 2. Puck back down to the Vancouver end. Coming away with it for the Giants in his own corner is Berube. Stick check though by Kohanek off the puck. Berube got it back. Wires it up the boards, this time clearing the line and putting it all the way back behind the goal of Friesen.
And just a reminder too, the second period is the long line change. You've got to go from your own zone across the center ice area to where your box is.
Stretch pass up the middle intended for Smuck, up behind him, and that is an icing call. This will be the last home game and last official preseason game for the Giants, but Bill, a very exciting night is coming up just around the corner. Saturday, September 29th will be the first regular season home game for the defending Memorial Cup champions.
Kelowna Rockets in town, a much improved hockey team. Look forward to seeing guys like Luke Shen, who had such a great tournament against the Russians here that was just played. But you're right, it's opening night. I think there's going to be some banners raised.
Yeah, A number of them. BC Division champs, Western Conference champs, and of course the much anticipated 2007 Memorial Cup banner. Here in Ladner, there's 25 seconds to go in this Bruins power play. Giants down 1-0.
Look how quickly the Vancouver team changes those lines from deep in their own zone. Terrific job of getting off the ice.
Puck inside the Vancouver stripe. Came to the stick of Mike Peluso. He'll rattle it right down on target of Friesen, knocking it away out of his crease. That'll pretty much do it here for this long extended power play chance for the Bruins. As serving the penalty for Krause was Henry. He's out of the box. Bruins meantime on the attack. Lenny up the left wing lets a shot go. It's deflected though lightly to the glove hand of Jamie Tucker, and he'll hang on for the whistle. And that is a very big PK by the hometown Giants to keep them to within one.
Well, it was a must for them to do that. Watch this cross ice pass be picked off right at the last second there by a real good heads up play by Mike Woodrow. That puck, had that backhand pass landed on a Bruin stick, it might have been a shot on goal by Woodrow. With a good job on the backhand, got a stick on it, got it out of play, face off on that dot, now to the right of the goaltender Jamie Tucker for Vancouver.
Draw won by James Wright. Brent Regner quickly clearing it out of his own zone. Passes off to Garrett Hunt. 20-year-old Maple Ridge native, fresh off an appearance at Vancouver Canucks prospect camp. Sweeps it in deep. Wright trying to corral it out of the corner. Lost control. It comes to the stick of Liam Dara, and he's able to punch it out of his own territory for the Bruins. Puck back to center ice. Wright quickly gathering speed. Hits the line. Long shot deflected off rookie D prospect Jeff Einhorn for Chilliwack. Puck rolls to the crease, and Friesen will cover for the whistle.
17-year-old, 6'3", 185-pound from Saskatoon, James Wright. He said it's the shortest summer he's ever had. Surprise, surprise. He had the Memorial Cup in May, World Under-18 in the summer. One of 6 WHLers, by the way, on that Under-18 team. 48 games he played last year. He had 5 goals. He plays 19 playoff games last year, including the Memorial Cup. He has another 5 goals. I think James Wright is going to absolutely explode this year, Joey. I got to believe he's got 25 goals in him.
Giants down 1-0. Early stages of period 2 here in Ladner against Chilliwack. Off a draw on the Bruins end. Kevin Boudelier will flip it all the way down to the crease of Jamie Tucker. Sweeps it to his own corner. Oh, a hard hit from behind by Jaden Potter on Brent Regner, but play carries on. James Henry went after Potter. Potter skates away from him. Henry now in control of the puck. Bumps his man Potter off the disc. And now play is whistled down. The Bruins unable to keep a clearing attempt in at the line, and they're whistled down on the offside call.
Jaden Potter, 18-year-old from Saskatchewan. This is the hit that went undetected, at least. I'm not sure it went undetected, but it wasn't a penalty. You at home may judge on that one. 2 times, 2 years in a row, that kid there, Jaden Potter from Chilliwack, played with the Prince Albert midget AAA teams. Had 2 years in a row, won the Royal. It's at the Telus Cup now for midget hockey championship. Boy, you love those winners.
Giants bringing control out of their own zone, and they have an odd man rush. Mitch Seibert failing to penetrate the Chilliwack line. Yuri Valek following up will get possession. Throw it up the right side to the stick of Chris Cloud. Cloud stood up off the puck, got it back though. Put it down low behind the net of Friesen. No Giant will get to it, but quickly coming to it for the Bruins was defenseman Jeff Einhorn, and immediately clearing it over the glass directly out of play. That'll be a delay of game penalty, and that will put Vancouver, Bill, on their 4th power play of the contest.
I think the Bruins have done a good job of taking the crowd that's here out of the game and taking that 1-0 lead. That's what we're talking about, Joey. The WHL involvement in that 07 draft. You know, the WHL also had 9 first-rounders in round 1 taken, and that's been 25 years since the WHL produced 9 first-round picks.
Giants working the power play in the Chilliwack end. Mike Berube shot from the line, deflected through the slot. This will come free to the corner for Mike Woodrow. Woodrow, Wright, and Cunningham, the forwards on the power play. Regner and Berube, the defense pairing. Berube did a good job to pinching off the point to keep it in. Now he throws it to the right side to Regner. Shot, never got through. Wright, backtracking to the corner. Tied up by Nick Holden. Puck got free to the stick of Woodrow. Woodrow spinning his way to the right side. Gives to the point to Regner. Cross zone for Berube. Back to Regner. Regner fakes a shot, goes to the right side to Woodrow. Wrist shot along the ice, sails wide. Puck caroms hard out of the corner and clears the zone.
And it's just exactly the experience. Mike Berube started to pinch on that play. On that play, the puck hit the back wall and came right where he left.
James Henry to the goal for James Wright. His backhander stopped by Friesen. Hunt gathering it out of the corner for Vancouver. Stopping, passing off now to Wright. Centering feed through the slot, finds Berube. Wrist shot blocked down by Robinson. 50 seconds to go in the power play. Centering feed intended for the streaking off the bench. Mike Peluso couldn't find it out of midair. Giants gather it back at center. Hunt across the Chilliwack line. Taps it down low in the zone. Holden, can he get to it before Henry? No, he can't. This will pop free behind the goal of Friesen. Hunt spilled to the ice by Holden. Puck underneath Hunt, then it comes free. Henry trying to kick it back to the point, but he's stripped off the disc by Kulhanek, and he'll wire it out of his own end. 25 seconds to go in the Giants' man advantage. Vancouver down 1-0 to Chilliwack. Here comes Hunt across the line. A drop line pass got away from Peluso. Puck comes to the stick of Smuck, and he's able to chip it cleanly out of his own territory. 10 seconds to go in this Vancouver man advantage. Had not generated a lot around the goal of Friesen. Friesen stopping it behind his net. Passes off to the goal scorer Hobbs. Penalty to Einhorn is now over. Manning on the left boards. Keeps it in the zone. Hobbs behind the net. Punches it to Einhorn, and he'll immediately dish it out of his own zone on a backhand as we're back to 5-on-5.
Unofficially, I don't think Vancouver had a shot on goal. Again, a very good penalty kill by the Bruins.
Cloud at center. Dumpin didn't get that deep, and now it's deflected over the side glass and out of play. 12-12 to go here in the second period of action. Giants still down 1-0.
Well, that would be interesting to see, because our cameraman just in front of us here got hit right on the top of the head with that puck that was deflected off the playing surface. But boy, he didn't even think of missing a beat there. Let's have a look. Right there, watch it. Here it comes. And get out of the way a little bit there. Doink. You see that? Right ahead. He kept that camera going. Good job.
You got to play through it. This is a building that's not even for the broadcasters. We got to keep our eyes peeled for pucks flying over the glass. And coincidentally, that puck that did clear the glass was off the stick directly out of play by Cody Hobbs. So that second consecutive delay of game minor against Chilliwack puts Vancouver now on their 5th power play of the game. Puck back in the Bruins territory. Holden can't clear out of the corner. Evander Kane for the Giants. Pushes it to the end boards to Cunningham. Cunningham shifting his way back to the right side. Gives off to Kane. Kane trying to cut free into the slot. Still has control. Rolls it through the goal mouth just wide. Poudelier for the Bruins. Pressure to the ice by Cunningham. Puck got free around the goal. Holden out-muscles Kane for the puck and is able to hammer it all the way down ice for Chilliwack.
Good job by Evander Kane. He had that puck in the corner, skated through the slot area, maintained possession of it. But then when that puck went free into the corner, he was the first guy again on the forecheck.
Berube at center for the Giants. Whistles it around the goal of Friesen. Puck to the right, face-off circle to Regner. Thought about shooting. Instead, holds to the line. Now he'll wind up fire through a screen wide. Rebound off the end boards to Woodrow, who shoots and scores. Well, the veteran Mike Woodrow was in the right spot at the right time to cash in on the power play. And we're in a 1-1 hockey game.
Brett Regner ever so patient on this. He fakes the shot and says, wait a minute, I gotta wait for something to happen. Then that shot goes wide, comes off the backboards, right to Woodrow. You're not too sure if that play is purposely set that way or not. I know a lot of times defensemen will shoot wide to get that rebound. Woodrow very happy about what happened. Here's the call.
The assist to number 19, James Wright, and to number 28, Brett Regner. Time 8:45.
So the Giants pull level on the man advantage as we approach the midway point here of this hockey game. Bruins have the puck back down in the Vancouver territory. Smuck making his way off the right wall. Gets it high into the slot to Scott Metke. A shot. Good kick away save through a screen by goaltender Jamie Tucker. Puck comes to his right-hand side. Valek gets it off to the stick of Wright. He'll put it behind his own goal for Sipe. Sipe trying to get away from the forechecking Smuck. Nearly turned it over. Did well, though, to get it free to Valek's stick. And they'll quickly push it out to center ice. Wright up the right wing, dodges a check, passes off to Hunt, trying to spin around a centering feed, never got through, and the Bruins quickly counter out of their own end. And it's Holden weaving his way across the Giants line. Can he get a pass off to a teammate? No. Wright has a chance to chip it cleanly out of his own territory. Puck goes back into the Vancouver end. Taking control is Manning. Had Manning for Peluso. Turned it over at center ice as we now have officially passed the midway point of the game as the Bruins are whistled down on the offside call.
One of the things the rookies notice real quick when they get to this level is that concentration has to be up quite a bit, maybe from the 50-60% range into the 70-80% range. That's number one. Number two, they got to let their strength catch up with some of these bodies, which is an ongoing process. You know, as a rookie, Joey, sometimes in WHL, you get thrown in the deep end right away. There's not much time to learn how to swim, and there's a good pace to this hockey game on the ice right now. Somebody made a goaltending change there.
And Vancouver has. We'll tell you about that at our next stoppage and play. Meantime, the play is in the Bruins' end. Berube at the line for Vancouver. Shot deflected on goal. Save, rebound for Peluso, who shoots and scores! As one of the promising rookie forwards in the Giants lineup this season, puts Vancouver in a 2-1 lead.
This shot from Berube at the point is deflected on the way to the net. Watch this shot. It's right along the ice. It jumps up in the air. There's a deflection up pad high. And then credit Vancouver for chasing that puck down. Traffic in front. Peluso finishes it off, but I thought the goaltender made a very good save on that deflected shot from the blue line. Here's John Ashford for the call on that one.
The assist to number 32, Chris Cloud, and to number 18, Mitch Seabear. The time at 10:31.
So the Giants, after starting the period down 1-0, past the midway point, holding a 2-1 lead. And here they come looking for more. Craig Cunningham in the slot on a backhand. Couldn't get a shot off as he's poked off the disc by Chapman. Puck comes to the end boards. Lance Boma on the forecheck. We've got a penalty coming up here against Chilliwack, though, Bill, as off the puck, Bruin boarded Cunningham from behind to the wall, and that's going to put Vancouver on their third straight power play this period, as it's Chapman heading to the penalty box for the Bruins.
Look how quickly Yuri Valek gets those feet going. He breaks the play up at his own blue line, then headmans it, gets that puck in deep, and after this play ends up in the corner, that's where the penalty occurs. But that whole play, Joey, you see the penalty coming up right there, was started by quick transition by Valek at his own blue line.
The Giants have the man advantage. Manning at the left point for Vancouver. Let a shot go. Deflected off the stick just wide of the target. And now the Bruins have a chance to clear out of their own zone. Cody Smuck skating through center. Will pop it in deep. As you see now, the puck goes behind the new goaltender in action for the Giants, and that's number 33, Kramer Barnstable. As 16-year-old rookie Jamie Tucker gets relieved. More on Barnstable in a moment. Meantime, play back in the Bruins' end. Valek left side, wrist shot, just wide through a screen. Manning keeping it in at the right point for Vancouver. Backhands it off the half wall for Hunt. Hunt looking down to the corner, has it deflect wide of the target. In pursuit to the opposite corner will be James Henry. Nice feed to the line for Valek. Long snapshot deflected high and wide. Puck to the corner. McHugh body checked nicely by Wright. Puck got free on the end boards. Holden trying to clear it up out of his own zone. Can't. Puck comes to the right boards for Manning. Passing off in the zone for Wright. Now to the line for Valek. His shot blocked down in the slot. And the Bruins this time were able to quickly drill it the other way. Giants 2, Bruins 1. 7:45 to go in the second period. 45 seconds to go in this Vancouver power play. A dump in by Berube was knocked down, and Giants are forced to chase back into their own zone to get possession.
36 seconds left. If you've got a confident power play coming out of your own right now, own end, you're confident enough that if you get it where it is now, get possession of that puck, you may generate one more scoring chance.
And the Giants do get control in the Bruins end. Woodrow who had the opening goal of this game for the Giants. Passes to Cloud, back to Wookdrill, to the line for Regner, returning to Wookdrill. Went into traffic, lost possession. Boudelier pumps it off a player in the Giants bench out of play with only 9 seconds to go in the minor penalty to Chapman.
There you see Kramer Barnstable, now the goaltender for the Vancouver Giants, 17-year-old, 6'1", 170. He's from Kelowna, played midget AAA in the Okanagan. He played 20 games of midget hockey with a 2.61 goals against average. Joey, I talked about 6 drafts for Vancouver of 06. This kid here was a draft in 05, a 9th rounder. They got themselves a pretty good one.
Long point shot by Dylan Schulten off the blocker arm of Friesen. The penalty is now out to Chapman, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Giants unofficially 1 for 6 with the extra skater in this game. Play back in the Vancouver end. McHugh down to the corner boards. Looking off for the stick of Liam Dara. Turned it over for Chilliwack, and Schulten's immediately able to headman it all the way down ice. Missing everybody, though, with the pass, and that is an icing call here against the home team.
With Vancouver scoring twice, Wookdrill and Peluso to go ahead 2-1. What is important now for the Vancouver Giants is that they come out of their end cleanly, and that's why that icing play that just happened there is really of no consequence. They just don't want to have Chilliwack set up anything and have any success right now in their own zone. So these battles right there got to be won by Vancouver.
Draw, though, won by the Bruins. McHugh's shot blasted high and wide. Holden at the left point. His shot did get through traffic. Good kick-away save by Barnstable. Smuck for Chilliwack on the left half boards. Pressured by Zibert. Got away from him momentarily. Now Smuck caught up to by Lyndon Sipe. That forces the turnover, and the Delta native will chip it off the wall and clear it out up to center ice. Cunningham fails to dump it in deep from in front of his own bench. Fell on top of the puck only for a moment. Gets back to his skates. It comes to the stick of Zibert. He'll sweep it down ice, and Vancouver will make a full-scale change on the fly. 5:45 to play here in the second period. Good game at the Ladner Arena. Giants up 2-1 on the Bruins. Jaden Potter forces his way back into the Vancouver end. Michael Proudly helping him out. Scoops it down low. Neil Manning had it, but he got some help in the process to get control of the puck as Jari Valek, I believe, ran a bit of a pick play. If it wasn't Valek, it was Wright. And it is indeed James Wright who's going to go to the box. And this, with 5.5 to go in the second, we'll see if the Bruins go to work on their 6th power play of the game.
That's not the penalty there. That's it right there. You see the interference James Wright runs so that that play could come around that wall and eventually get out. That is interference. The first play wasn't. That last one was. Good face-off win by Vancouver as it's iced, or at least into the penalty box as Joey over here started ducking. I was right with you. You're right. You could easily get hit in this position.
The face-off will come back into the Vancouver end.
I played in the golf tournament with that kid right there, Mike Peluso. Heck of a nice young man, as so many of these kids are. Looking forward to making a contribution this year as a 17-year-old for Vancouver.
He's made a good contribution so far in this game. Has the go-ahead goal with the Giants leading the Bruins 2-1. Chilliwack trying to draw level here with the extra skater. Proudly out of the corner wall for Chilliwack. Flipped it to the line for McHugh. Back he finds Proudly in the wall. Returning to McHugh. Let a snapshot go right to the crest of the Giants jersey of goalie Kramer Barnstable, with Glennie mixing it up afterwards with Regner, and that draws a bit of a crowd. Braden Metz exchanging pleasantries with Mike Berube away from that crowd. Looks like cooler heads will prevail.
When you come in and halfway through the game and you're able to make this kind of a save right here from the blue line, no deflection, you saw it all the way. Remember, you didn't have a chance to warm up. Barnstable in there just at the 10-minute mark, so he's only been in 5 minutes, and he gets a couple of goals to kind of get his feet wet. He's pretty happy about that. By the way, Cody Smuck, you remember him last year? What's probably the most memorable thing about that young man right there? That's right, the one punch KO of Kyle Beach. Pretty tough kid at Everett. An unbelievable scrap that ended almost as quickly as it started. He knocked him right out.
You know what?
I could not believe Beach came back the next game. I think it was the next day.
Fans in Chilliwack were applauding that, as were fans in every other WHL market when Beach got laid out at center ice at Prospera Center. here at the Ladner Arena. Giants nursing a 2-1 lead. Bruins working the power play for another 55 seconds. They've got it down low. Kohanek's bad angle shot stopped nicely on the short side by Barnstable, and he'll get the whistle with more pushing and shoving afterwards. Sipe involved for Vancouver. As the linesmen, Mike Bassford and Bevan Mills, have had their hands full so far in this game. They do a pretty good job to restore order around the Giants' net.
That's exactly what Barnstable's looking for. There is help from Valich, number 6, and he himself held the post, made sure that that puck didn't go through. And there's the guy we're talking about earlier, Cody Smug. I like him. He was originally a Vancouver Giant. I think he got traded to Chilliwack instead of giving up a pick off the roster, or he might have been in a Vancouver Giant uniform, that young man.
Well, during that last mix-up after the whistle, Lyndon Sipe was put in the box on a roughing minor.
So that's the discipline you're talking about, Joe.
So now the Bruins have a 5-on-3 instead of working a 5-on-4. Puck on the left face-off dot in the Vancouver end. On it for Chilliwack is Potter. Cycles it around the net for Kohanek. Kohanek now in the right corner for the Bruins, looking for someone to feed. Threw it through the goal mouth, couldn't find Potter streaking through the back door. Holden got it back though at the line for Chilliwack. Gives to D partner Boudelier. Back to Holden. Down low, left side to Potter. Pressured, threw it down in front. Good stick check by Manning, but it came to Holden. His shot never got through. Puck down back off the right side boards. Giants desperately trying to get control. Can they? Yes, they can. And it's a good work by Lance Boma to clear it out of his own territory. Here come the Bruins back on the attack. 5 seconds to go with the 2-man advantage. Kohanek centering feed deflected away by Manning. Out of the box now is James Wright. Holden's point shot whistles high and wide. Puck bouncing behind the goal of Barnstable. Kohanek to it first for Chilliwack. Dishing off to the line. Finds the stick of Holden. Cross zone to Boudelier. Hit the heel of his stick on a one-timer opportunity. And Vancouver easily this time CC Bear drill it all the way down ice. 45 seconds to go in what is unofficially Chilliwack's 7th power play of the game. 3 minutes to play here in the second. Giants up 2-1. Here comes Glennie across the Giants line. Dishing to Crowley, his one-time snapshot went across the face of the net. Metz turns it over now to Valek, and he's able to snap it back into the Bruins zone.
They got that puck to the left-hand shot coming in off the right wing. Joey, it was a nice pass up the ice by the Chilliwack Bruins. That shot just went wide. You can't miss there.
Here comes Proudly again up ice. Wrist shot, this time on target. Good save by Barnstable. Rebound, though, for Metz, who scores. Donnie Glennie celebrating as well, but I think the replay will show Braden Metz was able to beat Barnstable along the ice and Chilliwack on the power play. Make it a 2-2 hockey game.
Proudly had shot wide the first time that this play happened. He made no mistake on this one. Get it to the net, create a rebound, and look to see if there's somebody there who can jam it in. I'm sure that's one that Barnstable may have wanted back. You know, there was a celebration on there, I think, before that puck actually went in the net. And finally, Braden Metz is the guy that got to it.
We'll await the call on the power play goal. Bruins won't care who got it. They're happy to be back into a tie hockey game. Here's the call.
Power play by number 16 is Donnie Glennie. The assist to number 21, Braden Metz. And to number 6, Cody Hobbs. Time 17:29.
Here come the Giants back on the attack. Peluso's shot on goal, stopped and held by Friesen. As one of the Giants took a spill to the ice afterwards, and on the ice on his back is Wookdrel. Players exchanging some words as we get a chance to take a look at the replay here on this goal, giving credit to Donnie Glennie Bill.
That's the shot by Proudly. Barnstable said, darn, I wish I could have kept control of that puck. See, there's some celebrating there. It's not in yet. I think it's in right at the far end there. Or, you know what? It may have been the original play that went in. Let's see if we back that up. Let's see if the referee's pointing. He's already pointing on that play right there. When that puck goes in, maybe again from that far side, there's no question, as you see the great positioning of the referee, Matt Kirk. He knows exactly what he saw, and the celebration is on. We're tied at 2. 2:06 left in this period, boy. I'll tell you what. Both of these teams want to play tough defensively and not give the other team an opportunity to score this late in the second period.
Chapman in his own corner. Pressured off the puck by Wright. Cunningham trying to force his way down low onto the end boards. Lost it momentarily, but it bounces to right stick. Right. Threw it in front to the slot for Boma, who redirects it just wide. Good hit on the forecheck by Regner against Metz, who's still able to clear out of his own zone. Boma back on the attack for Vancouver. Weaves his way up the left side. Takes it down low behind the net. Kicking it into the right corner wall for Cunningham. Cunningham turns it over to Metz. And he's able again to move it out of his own territory. Both teams making changes. Regner up the middle. Couldn't find Garrett Hunt behind the D. Hobbs, who opened the scoring in this game, retrieves for the Bruins. Ooh, a stretch pass up the middle for Liam Dara behind the D. Dara with a snapshot well high and wide over the stick shoulder of Barnes-David. With under a minute to go now here in this second period of action. James Henry leading it out of his own zone to Hunt. Stopped in the neutral zone by Hobbs. Hunt still able to chip it back down low into the Bruins' end. Henry throwing a good hard hit on Hobbs. Puck stuck in their sticks and skates. Now Boudelier had it, turned it over in the corner to Wookdrill. Wookdrill to the end wall for Henry. Behind the net for Zibert. Zibert, can he get control? Yes, in front to Hunt on a backhander stop. Oh, a delayed penalty's coming up here. And I believe Chilliwack is going to be the team getting the call, Bill, after a pretty good effort by Garrett Hunt to make his way into the blue paint around Friesen and try to stuff it in on the short side. Interference is the call, though, being motioned by referee Sad Al-Jadir. Is it going against Vancouver? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, Mitch Zibert was going to get it, and he said something to Al-Jadir after the whistle, and he gets a 10-minute misconduct as well.
You got to keep your mouth shut in that situation. There's no doubt about that. But boy, I was really impressed at the heads-up play that both teams' defense make. They get that puck. You know, if there's a line change in the being called by either coach, these teams are so sensitive to that, so aware of that. You can see what Hay thinks of that call. And they just made a great stretch pass that Chilliwack did here to Liam Dara. Great job of finding him in between four players there. The guy that played at Hope last year, Junior B, Princeton rather, with the Princeton Junior B posse, just simply shot wide. But both teams so aware of those situations. It is very impressive.
Well, they give the goaltender interference penalty, I believe, to Garrett Hunt, and that was a real interesting decision made, considering Hunt had been knocked into the goaltender, and then Zibert wound up getting a 10-minute misconduct on the argument. So at the end of the play, Chilliwack find themselves with the extra skater. It won't matter right now, as time will expire on this second period of action. And we have ourselves the game up for grabs into the third period with the Giants and Bruins tied 2-2.
And I think it's exactly the way this game should be going into the third period. Both teams have played very solidly. Some power plays have scored. They've had pretty good goaltending. Joey, and it's been physical. These teams are skating, battling for loose pucks. Hey, and we're in for a solid third period as you see what's happened after 40 minutes.
As special teams has certainly been a difference maker in this game. 3 of the 4 goals scored so far in this contest have come with teams having the extra skater. The Giants' goals to this point coming from Mike Wookdrill and Mike Peluso. Bookended goals from the Bruins courtesy of Cody Hobbs and Donnie Glennie have us in a 2-2 tie. And the rivalry continues to build here, doesn't it, Bill? As there's already been some misconducts dished out in this contest, and I think it's got the makings for a pretty entertaining final 20 of regulation.
I think it's got the makings of a great series that these two teams play against each other.
10 times this year.
10 times. 5-5. Well, that's terrific. You know, a reminder from the Chilliwack standpoint, guys like Oscar Moeller not in the lineup tonight. Mark Centerelli not in the lineup. Hoda, their great European defenseman, not in the lineup. And we've already talked about Mahachuk, Repik, and Lukic. And, you know, I mean, you add those players to this mix, and I agree, 10 times. That is a terrific amount of entertainment for the fans. And what, 60 miles apart?
We've had terrific hockey through 40 minutes of play. For sure, there's 20 more exciting minutes on tap. But there's also going to be a lot of exciting hockey action throughout the winter here at the Ladner Arena with Delta's own Junior B Hawks program. And to find out more about another exciting season of Delta Ice Hawks hockey, let's throw it to Steve Erickson with our special guest in our second intermission. Steve, take it away.
Thanks very much, Joey. You talk about teams competing with each other against 10 times this year with Chilliwack and Vancouver. That is indeed a big rivalry. The two teams in Delta, the Delta IceHawks and the North Delta Devils, they also are two teams that compete a fair amount of time. And I'm joined right now by the associate coach with the Delta IceHawks, Mr. Bill Chechos. Bill's had a very, very instrumental run. He's been with the North Delta minor hockey program. At one point, you worked at General Motors Place with Mr. John Ashbridge and crew down there. But let's take us to the date back when you were in North Delta minor hockey.
Well, that was the greatest experience for the family and the kids, especially the kids. It gave them a pretty good grounding in team sports and how to work in a team environment. And, you know, a great example is my older son, Stefan, who works for Customs right now and was a referee for years in Junior B. And, you know, I just think it's a great environment for kids to learn about how to be in a team, in a team and work in a team and become better members of society.
You didn't coach the Junior B program in North Delta. You came down here to be an associate coach with the Delta IceHawks. Was it tough to entice you to come down here?
Well, let's put it this way. You know, there wasn't a lot of offers out there. But I talked to Danny Fortuna, who I have a lot of respect for, both as a human being and as a coach. We played Danny, I don't know if you remember, Steve, when I was with Richmond, in that run that we had where we went to the provincials and then we went to the westerns, and we had to go through South Delta here. And I remember playing against Danny, and he was out on the ice and he had, you know, a shoulder injury, he had a leg injury, he had an arm injury, his hand was hurting, and he was the first to the puck on every shift. And I keep telling the players they have to live up to that. You know, that's an incredible thing. But no, working with Danny is incredible. He's a wonderful, first of all, extremely knowledgeable coach in hockey, but he works so great with the kids.
Well, it's ironic because the coach that coached before Danny and now yourself is up with the Surrey Eagles, Shane Custon. Of course, Shane had an exceptional run with the Surrey Eagles. His sweater's hanging from the rafters in the South Surrey Arena.
Did really well. You see the Shane Cuss influence on that team, his trademark, and I think they're going to have a great season this year, absolutely.
Shane's taught a lot of young players in the Delta area, as yourself and Danny Fortuna. Now, we were talking before we come on camera, players, if they don't make the Vancouver Giants team and they get the luxury of being cut, they've got the chance they can come and play with the Delta IceHawks?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have one of the boys from Chilliwack who came down, Mike Clements, defenseman, and he's been a tremendous right now. I believe we have the top 6 defensemen in Junior B, and Mike's definitely a very big part of that.
Well, you got a big team and a growing team. I watched your team play the first game against the Delta Devils, and that was an exceptional game. It was a 1-goal difference in the game, but that was a seesaw battle.
Yeah, you know, coaches don't really like to see that. It was a last shot wins type of a game, an 8-7 affair. But then, you know, we played them back here in our barn, and as soon as we got the matchups going against the lines that we wanted, we had a really good game against them, and we expect they're going to be extremely competitive all year. Mike Thompson's a great coach, and he's going to have those guys executing really, really well. I just don't think right now that there's the depth out there in any team in Junior B in defense, and that's going to make the difference for us this year.
Yeah, indeed it will. Well, we know you're going to have an exceptional team. We're looking forward to coming out and covering some of your games throughout the course of the season. Bill, thanks very much for your time.
Would love to have you out. Would love to have all the fans out as well. The boys just get pumped playing in front of people, and it's great hockey. And Steve, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Bill. Exceptional. Tuesday nights, 7:15, right here. Exactly. Thanks very much, Bill. We're going to take a timeout and come back with a third period face-off right after this.
The defending Memorial Cup champions Vancouver Giants are in a 2-2 tie with the Chilliwack Bruins after 2, Bill.
Watch what happens when Boudelier, number 3 for Chilliwack, loses position on Peluso right there. Boy, he's got nothing to do but come back and try to get his arms around him somehow. Peluso would have none of that. That was a Vancouver 2-1 go-ahead goal, and then you see Glennie tying it up late in that period. We're set for a great third.
Mike Woodrill has the other Vancouver Giants goal. Cody Hobbs also scoring in this game for the Bruins. Shots on goal in that second period were 12-7 in favor of Vancouver. That's the two-period total you see there. 22 for Vancouver, 13 for the Bruins. Joey Kenward and Bill Wilms return to the broadcast booth. We are now underway with period 3 here at the Ladner Arena. It's WHL exhibition hockey here on Delta Cable, and this third period sees the Bruins starting with a power play. A minute 15 left and a minor penalty for Garrett Hunt's goaltender interference call, which carries on from the second frame. Colby Kohanek at center for Chilliwack fails to penetrate the Giants line. Puck will come to the stick now of Kevin Boudelier. He'll move it up the middle for Cody Smuck, weaving his way up the right side. Stick checked inside the zone by Mike Berube. That'll deflect over the glass and out of play.
How important are exhibition games, preseason games to that man right there? Well, his team has lost exactly once in the last 22 games played in the preseason. Don Hay knows how important it is to get that winning attitude, get it early in the season, in the exhibition series, and get it often.
Both teams are coming off exhibition game losses. The Giants fell 6-3 in their last outing against the Rockets in Kelowna. The Bruins in their last game got spanked 7-1 by the Kamloops Blazers. 40 seconds to go in the power play for Chilliwack. Smuck coming off the left boards. A backhander at the top of the crease is gloved down nicely by Kramer Barnstable, who suffered the loss in Kelowna in his hometown last week. And he's having a pretty good outing to this point against that man's team, Jim Hiller, head coach of Chilliwack.
You mentioned the 7-1 loss to Kamloops. Well, you know, his team, Hiller, had no Moeller, no Santorelli, no House, no Petkow, no Holden, no McHugh, no Esposito. Not a lot of, a lot of returning players in his lineup that night.
Half a minute to go in the Giants PK, and they win a draw in their own zone with James Wright scooping it down ice for Vancouver.
But you know, Joey, everybody I talked to, especially on the Chilliwack side, said this Kamloops Blazer team is really, really impressive this year.
Chilliwack not getting much going on this power play here to start the third period. They are forced back behind their own goal. Matt McHugh to center, stripped off the disc by James Henry, a 16-year-old from Winnipeg, Manitoba, had a shot stopped by Mark Friesen, and a quick rebound chance for Lance Boma. Took a deflection high into the end netting, out of play, just as the penalty to Garrett Hunt expires.
There's absolutely no creativity in Matt McHugh coming out of his own end with a puck right there. He gets it too far ahead of him, stripped quickly from him, and that puck ends up going on the net. That's a good play by James Henry with the shot, the rebound, and goaltender ends up having to make 2 saves. And finally, that puck is deflected off the playing surface with that face-off to the left of the Chilliwack goal.
Bruins win a face-off in their own zone, but they fail to clear. Neil Manning pinching it off the point for Vancouver. Takes it down low behind the net of Friesen. Kicked the puck off to the right side, but it came down to the stick of Liam Dara, and he'll scoop it out of his own zone for the Bruins. Chris Clow back on the attack for Vancouver. Passes off to Peluso. Dropping it behind the goal. Hunt in pursuit. Can't find it initially. Now he gets it. Comes into the crease area. He's knocked down from behind. Puck got free on the side of the goal, but referee Matt Kirk, who's parked right behind the target, whistles play down, and we'll have a face-off to restart play in the Chilliwack end. 2:07 gone in the third. Still Giants and Bruins deadlocked, 2 goals apiece.
From that back wall, you see diligent work by Vancouver's most inspirational leader award. That's 24, Garrett Hunt. And when it's a 2-2 game, you don't care how you get that puck into the front of the area, in front of the net area. You just get it there.
Bruins win the draw on their own end. McHugh nearly had his pocket picked by Evander Kane. Now he gives it away to Craig Cunningham. Cunningham's centering feed was intercepted by Michael Proudly. He can't get it out, though. Nick Holden pushes it behind his own goal. Now the Bruins will have a chance to move it up ice to center. Michael Proudly, can he get across the Giants line? Yes, didn't get control of the disc when he went there. And Vancouver will now have an opportunity to bring it back to center ice. Uri Valek Standing 6'7", weighing about 210 on skates. Pounds it back into the Bruins end. Evander Kane took a bump, got it free behind the goal though for Cunningham. Cunningham to the right corner for Valek. Valek put it back down low in the zone. Cunningham unable to corral it before Matt McHugh does. And he'll lumber his way to the red line, drive it in deep, and allow Chilliwack to make a change on the fly. Mike Woodrow to center ice, feeding James Wright. Good speed down the right side. Wright taking it down low, left it for Henry, putting it to the crease. Wright can't jab it in on the short side of Friesen, who covered it up, lost it momentarily, but when he did, referee Kirk lost sight of it. That's why we get the whistle. And I'm not sure if we're going to have a penalty issued here or not, Bill, after the Giants have come out with some pretty good zip here in their skating in the opening 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Well, here's the difference in a big guy rushing the puck. This is Valek. We showed you McHugh earlier. Look at the little bit of creativity here. Get that puck away from the check and then get it in deep. I think that Vancouver fans are going to like that big guy this year. Valek's got a lot of offensive pizzazz to him. Joey, he had 7 goals last year, 23 assists with Tri-City. 4 of them were power play goals. He had a plus 11 with that team. That, to me, is very impressive. And if I'm not mistaken, he was a high-scoring defenseman on that Tri-City team. Power play, no, nothing. They cancel off. We'll play 4-on-4. This might be the first time tonight.
It is indeed the first time for 4-on-4 hockey in this game between the Giants and Bruins. Let's see if either team's able to break the deadlock. Maybe it's Vancouver. Bohm up the right wing. Shot stopped in the armpit of goaltender Mark Friesen, who has been blitzed here in the early going by Vancouver in this final period of regulation. And he comes up with a good save off another Giant that's got the makings of having a breakout season, and that's second-year forward Lance Boma.
Turnover at center ice area, 4-on-4, keeps his feet moving right there. Puck in a perfect spot to shoot, goes upstairs. He's trying to get it up in that top corner over the shoulder of the goaltender. I agree, Boma, good wills, good acceleration. I think he's going to be on that score sheet a lot this year.
Bruins in possession. Bring it out to center. Donnie Glennie, stick checked in front of the penalty box by Brent Regner. Here now comes Peluso, already with a goal in this game, stripped off the disc. And the Bruins will have a chance to bring it cleanly up ice. A stretch pass up the middle by Boudelier, too hot to handle for Glennie, and that is an icing call against the road club.
That's the third time now that that puck has been turned over. The Boma play at the center ice area, 4-on-4. It was turned over again, ended up in the Chilliwack zone, and now this is the third time Chilliwack can't get that puck in deep. They ice it. Good play between the blue lines for the Vancouver Giants.
A minute 20 remaining here in 4-on-4 hockey. Giants and Bruins still tied 2-2 as we have played 4 minutes here in the final period. Dylan Scholten in control of the puck, brings it cleanly to center, dishes it up the right wing for Craig Cunningham. Cunningham at a shot blocked down by the leg of Boudelier. Cunningham retrieves the control though for Vancouver. To the line for Manning, to Scholten, dropping it to the low corner left side. Cunningham finding it free, makes his way down low, driving in front for the slot. Couldn't find Chris Cloud at the doorstep. Partik Bungle will take possession back for the Bruins, relieves some pressure behind his own goal, allowing Vancouver to make some changes on the go. Now Boudelier to center ice for the Bruins. Whacks it in deep. Manning left it in his own corner for Woodrow. Took a bump from Partik Bungle. Then knocked Bungle down to the ice on a good stand-up check. Fans respond with Manning bringing it now to center for Vancouver. The smooth skating first-year D-man from Nanaimo, BC. Couldn't get it in deep. Evander Kane does well to block the third attempt. Snapping a bouncing shot on target. Friesen is able to cover it up and get the whistle.
Yeah, I agree. That was Neil Manning coming out of his own zone. And we've said this once. We've said this a dozen times. As you're playing 4-on-4, you really want to activate your defense. Let him go with the puck. Act as an extra forward. Manning was able to do that. There was just nobody to give that puck to. Still 9 seconds left on this 4-on-4. Big face-off inside that Chilliwack zone, but the Bruins have been good, Joey, in the face-off circle tonight. Give them credit for that. Been great.
Penalties now to Wright and Smuck have expired, and we are, as Bill mentioned, back on 5-on-5 terms. Giants and Chilliwack still tied 2-2. Center ice coming for the Giants is Lance Boma. Touches it into the Chilliwack end. Matt McHugh immediately rifles it back the other way for the Bruins. Lyndon Sipe gathering speed in his own zone. Flips it high off the glass. Puck crosses into the Bruins territory. Not that deep though, as Chilliwack will clear. James Henry pushing it back down ice for Vancouver. Forces his way into the corner. Giants trying to set things up here on the forecheck. Valek pinching it off the blue line. Kicked it free off the wall. Puck comes down low into the corner. Holden with some time outlets it nicely for Kohanek, and he's able to clear it up ice. Ren Regner for the Giants. Passing up the middle, tape to tape for Wright. Wright getting some space. Weaves his way to the red line. Backhander gloved down by the tall frame of McHugh. Nearly gave it away to Chris Cloud. Cloud forces it into the corner. McHugh jabs the puck off of his stick. Cloud trying to get it back in the corner. Although it got away from McHugh. Regner in off the blue line, does well to keep it in the zone. This is good work on the forecheck by the Giants. Bruins eventually break it down though and are able to clear. Mike Berube trying to throw it up the middle out of his own territory. Gave it away to Glennie, but he was in offside. And that'll whistle play down. 13-14 to go in this game. Bill, the Giants will play their first 3 games of the regular season on the road. And then it's the long-awaited banner-raising night of the Coliseum, Saturday, September 29th, for the Giants' home opener.
Pretty simple to get tickets for that one. You see it right on the screen there. Talked about the Kelowna Rockets earlier, and it's kind of interesting to see Ryan Huska matched up against his old coach, Don Hay, in that one.
Bruins unable to keep the puck in. In fact, they're going to take a penalty as a delayed minor is coming up here against Chilliwack. Craig Cunningham rocked hard to the wall, and he is in some discomfort, and a crowd is going to gather here in the Chilliwack corner. Craig Cunningham is on his back and not looking like he's in very good condition, as trainer Corey Cameron is going to come out and check out Craig Cunningham. A delayed penalty was going to be called here against Chilliwack for an infraction all the way back in the Vancouver zone. Players continue to mix it up, and Mike Wookdrill is involved. And we're going to have at least one fight break out here. That's Cody Hobbs and Mike Wookdrill really duking it out against each other on the glass. And it's tough to see from our broadcast vantage point with fans standing right against the glass. And the linesmen have already tried to separate players elsewhere on the ice, and that's why the referee, Matt Kirk, has gotten involved to try to quash the fight between Wookdrill and Hobbs. But forgotten in all of this right now is the condition of Craig Cunningham, Bill, and that does not look good.
Well, this is where the penalty happens in the offensive zone. Braden Metz on the trip. The hands up, it's a delayed penalty. Giants continue with that puck to get the extra attacker on the ice. Keep your eyes on Craig Cunningham, 14 white. He's never afraid to go in the corner of the rink. He loses his balance just before he's nailed by Kevin Boudelier. And
well, the good thing is you see the replay, Bill. He's been able to skate off under his own steam, but he was badly cut on the top of the head. And as you saw in that replay, his head, after being hit along the boards,
well, watch it here.
Kind of tough to see off the camera
he loses
angle.
His balance right there, and then the check by Boudelier drives the back of his head into the boards. Now, I don't know, does he lose his helmet, Joey?
Oh, he does.
Just,
no question.
No, but just prior to being hit, when he lost his own balance there, I'm not sure. He lost it certainly when he was on the ice. But that was Cunningham, as I said before. You know, there's one thing about it. Well, get a good look here. Now, keep the far right of your screen. He loses his balance. No, the helmet comes off after he's hit. And thank goodness that's all it is at this point. But again, credit Vancouver is stepping up, and defensive Cunningham, somebody that this Vancouver Giant team loves dearly. They like all their own teammates, but Cunningham especially. I think that place is going to go nuts when he scores his first regular season goal. He didn't get one at all last year. Cunningham did. I think he's got one in the playoffs, but Craig Cunningham played 48 games last year with just 5 assists.
He is being looked at in the Giants dressing room. The trainer, Corey Cameron, had come onto the ice, as had Giants head physician, Dr. Martin Ray. It did not look good early on for Cunningham, but as you probably had heard in the reaction here at the Ladner Arena, being able to skate off without assistance. A lot of blood left on the ice in the corner. And after that had occurred, we had our second fight of the game, and that was Cody Hobbs and Mike Wuchterl. And from our broadcast vantage point, we didn't get that great of a look at it because with only about 5 or 6 rows of seats, a lot more fans closer to the action had a much better view than what we did. Penalties have been assessed by referees Matt Kirk and by Sad Al Jadir.
Craig Cunningham looks bigger this year, and I think he is bigger. You know, the thing about a guy like Cunningham, you got to go back to his junior B year when he played as a 15-year-old. He had 19 goals for the trail team that he played for. And one of the things about playing up in age all the time, Cunningham came here as a 16-year-old last year, is that when you're up playing against older guys, you kind of forget to really use what you do so well, your scoring ability. You have a tendency to want to be less of a liability on the ice. And, you know, at some point the kids do break loose. The 16-year-olds as 17s start finding that scoring touch, and as 18 and 19-year-olds they really blossom. Well, I think everything's been sorted out.
We have not had announcements on the penalties, but I believe, although they had put some times on the clock, they've taken them away since. I think all of this will be a wash, provided the fact, though, that an initial penalty was going to come to Chilliwack. Let's get the call on the penalties from PA announcer John Ashbridge.
Kevin Boutelier, a 5-minute major penalty for boarding and a game misconduct. To Chilliwack, number 21, Braden Metz, 2 minutes for tripping. And to Chilliwack, number 16, Donnie Glennie, 2 minutes for roughing, 5 minutes for fighting, and an automatic game misconduct. Giants penalties to number 4, Mike Berube, 2 minutes for roughing and 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Giants penalties to number 38, Mike Wuchterl, 5 minutes for fighting and an automatic game misconduct. The time 7:04.
So instead of it starting 5-on-5, Bill, the next 5 minutes are going to be in favor of the Vancouver Giants, 5 skaters to 4, as they do give an automatic boarding major and game misconduct to Kevin Boutelier for that hit that we've seen a few times against Craig Cunningham.
Great opportunity now to focus back on the game. It's a 2-2 tie, 12:50 left in the period. Vancouver on that 5-minute power play. You know, they'd be very disappointed, I think, Giants would be, if they wouldn't be able to capitalize on this. Really going to test this Chilliwack penalty kill.
Remember, not your usual names and faces on the power play for Vancouver. Currently working with James Wright, James Henry, and as well Lance Boma up front as forwards. Neil Manning, Brent Regner are on D. Bruins clear the puck out of their own zone as the puck will go all the way back behind goaltender Kramer Barnstable. Unofficially, the Giants are on their 7th power play of the game, 1 for 6 with the man advantage tonight. James Wright motoring up the right side. Can he get past David Robinson? Yes, forces it into the corner. Puck comes down to the stick of Henry. Henry put it back into traffic. Now it comes to the right point for Regner. Left point, passing to Manning. Into the slot. Oh, it just bounced over James Wright's stick. He was all alone. Puck will come back to the wall. Giants regroup. Regner at the blue line for Vancouver. Dishing to the right side to Henry. Back to Regner. Wrist shot deflected in front by Boma, just wide of the target. Regner pounds it back behind the net. First to it will be Manning. Manning, as the Giants continue to work this major man advantage. Got it low in the corner. James Wright kicking it down low on the zone for Boma. Back to Wright, to the line for Henry. Returning to James Wright. Fan on a feed in front, and Robinson for the Bruins is able to clear it out of his own end. Barnstable with a stretch pass, gave it away at center. Here comes Chapman up the left wing. Dylan Chapman with a snapshot, knocked down on the short side by Barnstable. 11-11 to go here in the third. Giants 2, Bruins 2. With a little more than 3 minutes to go on this Giants power play chance. Bruins doing a good job on the PK. See Kolhanek this time smack it back down to the Vancouver zone.
Giants don't hesitate at all in the offensive zone to send 3 guys into forecheck, trying to get possession of that puck. See if they do it. Well, they can't get it in deep.
Holden in his own zone, leaving it free for D partner McHugh as he golfs it back the other way. Uri Valek getting a good head of steam to motor to center. Hits the red line, and he'll blast it back behind the net of Friesen. Partik Bungal first to it for the Bruins. Leaving it around the net for Holden, and he'll force it all the way back down on target of Barnstable.
Boy, that was a nice job by Holden. Everybody thought he might go up the wall with it. He found a seam up the middle and got that puck out of his own zone. Good penalty kill.
Vander Kane for Vancouver. Rolls it in deep. Gives chase. Gets to the puck first. Turn it over, though, in the corner to Chapman. And the Bruins, again, waste no time dumping it down ice.
Well, it's a 2-minute power play at this point. 2:05 left. Doesn't matter where in that 5 minutes you score. Just get one at least.
Kane snapping it back down ice for Vancouver. Boma leaves it to the left side of the zone to Henry. Backhand pass to the line for Regner. Returning to Henry. Down to the end boards for Kane. Bringing it in front. Shot stop. Rebound. Manning has it denied by Friesen. The referee, Kirk, lost sight of it, even though play was still alive. But it's now whistled down, and Vancouver will have a draw inside the Chilliwack zone.
Nothing terribly pretty about this play at all. It's just a matter of keeping it along the back wall, advancing it from one side of the ice behind the net to the other, and then simply trying to get it off that back wall, Vancouver did, to the front of the net to give Friesen some trouble with it. It looks like Friesen's going the full distance in net for Chilliwack. Reminder that Jamie Tucker started. Kramer Barnstable now in goal for Vancouver, but Mark Friesen, who Joey I think's got the inside track to be Matt Esposito's backup, is going the full distance for this Chilliwack Bruin team. And right now I think he's been very, very solid.
Had faced 10 Vancouver shots in the first period, 12 in the second. And although we don't have a shot clock here at the Ladner Arena, you've got to think that he's probably already seen a good 7 or 8 shots in the first half of this third period.
Reminder, of the 4 goals scored tonight, 2 by each team, 3 have come off the power play. Woodrow for Vancouver giving them a 1-1 tie. And for the Chilliwack Bruins, Cody Hobbs, Donnie Glennie have scored power play goals. But it is Vancouver that's on the power play right now with 1 minute and 46 seconds left in that Chilliwack penalty. And I don't know what this is all about, as again, you want to see the defending Memorial Cup champions raise some banners on opening night. It's Saturday, September 29th. Arch rival, the Kelowna Rockets.
There was some confusion at the penalty box. Donnie Glennie, it had been announced in the building that he had been in a fight, which comes with an automatic game misconduct. It wasn't Glennie, it was Cody Hobbs, who opened the scoring way back at 15:01 of the first. So Hobbs is done. Glennie is eligible to return as we prepare to get back to action. The Giants on a power play in a 2-2 tie here in Ladner. Vancouver winning the draw. Regner at the point. Feeding it to the right side of the territory for Wright. Back to the point for Neil Manning. Manning dishing on the wall to Wright. Low corner, right side, passing off to the stick of Cloud. To the line, finding Manning. Shot. Bouncing into the slot. There is Peluso trying to spin around a one-timer, but it's knocked down, and the Bruins quickly clear. 1:20 to go here in this Vancouver major power play opportunity. Manning's dumping, not that deep. That's easy pickings for David Robinson to drive it all the way down ice. Giants on the power play right now have Cloud, Peluso, and the puck carrier Wright up front as forwards. Wright trying to split through the D, backhands into the crease, but it's covered and held by Friesen for the whistle. Now we'll have another draw into the Chilliwack zone.
Joey, we'll try to show you if we can, possibly at all. This Chilliwack team has been really good on the penalty kill tonight. I'm very impressed by that. And you know, there's a shot from the blue line. Watch this puck come back to the line. And you know, when this puck doesn't get through, that's one thing. And here comes a shot from Manning here. Watch this. It's blocked right there in front of the net. See that? And now the rebound is how quickly it's jammed up and cleared. There's another 3 Chilliwack Bruins in front of the net to clear the rebound away. That is very good coaching.
Play back underway. Giants still with the extra skater for another 45 seconds, but it's the Bruins who have done a great job on this shorthanded scenario. Seeing Partik Bungal dumping it all the way down ice. Valek to center for Manning. Couldn't find Garrett Hunt on the fly. And Einhorn Puts it all the way back into the Vancouver end. Valak. Back to center for Manning. Dump in, knocked down by Robinson. Tying it up in front of his own bench. Glennie finding it free for the Bruins. Will steer it down ice with 10 seconds to go in this Giants man advantage. One more rush here to move it up into the Chilliwack end, but Valak's feed through the middle got away from Manning. Robinson rolls it the other way. Penalty is out. Metz serving it on behalf of Boudelier is out of the box, and we are back to even strength hockey. A big penalty kill tonight on the road for the Bruins, keeping this game in a 2-2 tie. Evander Kane backhands it up the right wing. Got it to the Bruins end. Not that deep as Cody Smuck gathers it back through center. Dodged a hip check from Kane. Turned it over in the process. Schulten puts it back all the way down to the Bruins territory. Holden now pressured into the corner boards. Puck stuck in sticks and skates. Are they able to get it free? It's still loose. Referee Kirk will blow play down. And I believe we'll have a draw inside the Chilliwack end. Bill, we mentioned it earlier. With a new team in the Western Hockey League this year, the expansion Edmonton Oil Kings, that makes the schedule a little bit more interesting than it's been in the past. And these two teams that are only less than an hour apart on Highway 1 will play each other 10 times, 5 in each building throughout the course of the regular season.
Well, this is going to be an indication of how they play, and especially when they get their skill, real skill, high-end skill players that are at NHL camps back. It's got the makings of two very, very good teams competing 10 times against each other.
Bruins whistle down on the offside call. 7:05 to play here in period 3.
We're going to be asked, or somebody's going to have to come up with the player of the game, and Joey, that's a tough one right now. There's players on both teams have been very good. Valak has been solid.
James Wright has had a good game for Vancouver as well.
I thought Manning's been good. I think Chapman's been pretty good for the Chilliwack Bruins. And obviously, at this point, Joey, if the Chilliwack Bruins were to win this game, I'd have to say that Mark Friesen, their goaltender, has certainly been a big factor. So we may need help from the guys in the truck.
Or even Steve Erickson, who will be talking to our player of the game when this contest is all said and done with.
Well, that
Still
was
lots of hockey left.
Big 5-minute kill by the Bruins. You can see right now they can smell it. They've killed it off. They think, well, if we can play 5-on-5 now, get that puck in the Vancouver Giants zone, force them to make some mistakes down there, they may capitalize on one of the mistakes. See what happens.
Bruins in control of the puck inside their territory. Jeff Einhorn on the disc. Snaps across zone feed for Liam Dara. Dara rolling it down low behind the net of Barnstable. Berube is there for Vancouver. Rattles it around his goal. Taking possession is right. Nice touch pass on the fly for Peluso. Peluso will scoop it in deep. Garrett Hunt on the forecheck. Won't get to it before the Bruins McHugh. And Chilliwack wastes no time getting it out to center. Hunt up the right side for Chris Cloud. Cloud making his way into the Chilliwack corner. Got help from Wright. Wright pushes it around the net. Jaden Potter stapled to the end glass by Hunt. Still passed it off to Smuck. And the Bruins will clear with Dara scooping it back in deep. Jaden Potter getting it down in the corner. Turns it over to James Wright. Cloud with a chance to get it out of his own territory. Can't. Got a second chance to skate it this time in front of the penalty box and roll it all the way back into the Bruins end. And Don Hay will make a full-scale change on the fly for the Giants. A little more than 5 minutes to go here in regulation. And the Bruins are they going to be called for too many men? No, I don't think so. Although the puck touched one of the skaters going off to the bench for a change. The faceoff will come at center.
Just prior to this, watch the hit that the Bruins take to make a play. That little hit behind the net allowed the Chilliwack player to make that pass and then that one. You know, if you don't take that hit behind the net, you don't make those two little passes to get out of your own zone.
Juraj Valak in his own zone right now for the Giants. Puts it up the middle. Lance Boma deflecting it in deep. Chapman on D for Chilliwack will clear. Bruins bring it in. Had a chance to drive in on net, but they're whistled down on the offside call.
Yuri Valek, we've talked quite a bit about him tonight, but I think he's such an interesting project. Big guys seldom like to lead the rush. He does. He loves it. He played for Slovakia last year at the World Junior team, and you know, I go back to the draft. He was projected to be one of the top 3 Slovaks taken. Wasn't even picked anywhere. Amazing. It sort of blew me away. Much like Brett Ragnar not getting drafted last year at all for the Vancouver Giants. That was hard for me to understand.
Here in Ladner, Berube trying to throw a hit on the Bruins forward. Robinson missed him with the check. Garrett Hunt will chop it up the glass, and here come the Giants on an odd man rush. Hunt leading it up to the left wing. Going on goal. Shot stopped by Friesen, and he'll cover up. And there haven't been a lot of good quality scoring chances the last 3 or 4 minutes, Bill. That one far and away the best. Hunt electing to shoot, forcing a good stop by the Chilliwack rookie goalie.
We'll show you why. Matt McHugh, right at that line, right there. He gets caught standing still. See him there? Black? He's doing nothing. He's up against the boards. He's not in position to make a check. The last thing he knows is in for a heck of a chase to get back with 3 Vancouver Giants. And Hunt, instead of making a pass to anybody going to the net, decided to shoot. And that guy right there, goaltender Mark Friesen, made the save.
Offsetting penalties have been issued here to Robinson and Seibert for their rough stuff after the whistle. So maybe we'll see this 2-2 deadlock snapped with a lot more ice to work with between the Giants and Bruins. 4:09 remaining in regulation.
4-on-4, it's all about puck possession. You will not see many teams 4-on-4 dump the puck in. They want control of it at all times in a 4-on-4 situation.
James Wright just took a puck in the mouth. He'll shake it off and try to join a rush through center. Chris Cloud gets it up ice for Wright. Crossing the line, lost it momentarily. Puck rolls to the crease area. There's Cloud with a backhander stopped by Friesen. And he'll get the whistle as James Wright will now go off. We'll probably get a quick look-see from trainer Corey Cameron as we get another opportunity to see that earlier rush by Garrett Hunt, Bill.
Look, no, nothing pretty. This is just the way the last rush developed as they come up the ice. A lot of Chilliwack Bruins on the back check, doing a nice job for their goaltender. And when you've got players coming back like that, it just makes it offensively for the team with the puck a little bit tougher to make a good play because you run out of time and space so quickly.
Draw one by Braden Metz in his own zone. Cody Smuck trying to clear for the Bruins. This cross zone feed was deflected down by Boma. Dylan Scholten trying to get control, scooping it back down ice. Chapman in his own territory. Passes to D partner Einhorn. Quick feed through the neutral zone for Smuck. Dodged a hit from Scholten. Puck makes its way down to the end boards in the Vancouver end. Here's a centering feed now for Holden, making his way into the slot, but he's stick checked nicely by Boma. Manning will regroup for Vancouver. A little more than 3 minutes to play here in the third. Giants 2, Bruins 2. Manning, cross zone feeding to Scholten. Out of his own end, his headman feed took a deflection, came though to Manning. Manning, with his teammates making changes, is content to sweep it down ice, and he'll now go off for a change himself. Jeff Einhorn leaves it free for his D partner, Holden. Stretch pass up the middle, deflected by Regner into the Giants' end. The late offside coming here to the Bruins. This will give a chance for Mike Peluso. He's had a good game tonight for the Giants as well. Peluso passing off to Berube. Tapping it in deep. Kane on the forecheck. Did well to bump it down to the stick of Peluso. He lost control, and here come the Bruins the other way. Colby Kohanek stopped at the line on a good play by Regner. Chilliwack make changes here. We've only got a few more seconds to go here in 4-on-4 hockey. Regner again to center. This time passing off to Peluso. He'll pound it in deep as Robinson and Seibert are out of the box. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. 2 minutes to play in regulation. Giants 2, Chilliwack 2. Here comes Proudly to the Giants line. Couldn't penetrate the Vancouver zone. He'll regroup at center. Now snaps it up the left side boards. Barnstable behind his goal. Rolls it around to the right side. Did well to get it to the stick of Garrett Hunt. Hunt, though, had a tough time clearing it up the wall past Glennie. Puck got away from both of them to the stick of Uri Valek. Valek up ice for Cloud. His backhander makes its way into the corner. Wright throws a hit on Einhorn, got it into the slot. Here's Hunt with a shot, stop, rebound for Cloud, denied by Friesen on the short side. Good chance for Chris Cloud in close, good save from Mark Friesen. And the Bruins now are able to get it out of their own end. James Wright back in front of his own bench. Passes to Scholten. Scholten whistles it back in deep. Puck comes to Boma behind the goal. Lance Boma waiting for help. Tied up by Holden. Boma falls on top of the puck. Now it came loose away from the Giants forward. Holden will take control and regroup in his own zone with under 1 minute to play now here in the third. Giants and Bruins, just like the last time they were in this scenario in exhibition play, we're in a 2-2 tie, and Chilliwack has just been whistled down on a very close icing call. 48 seconds exactly to go here in the third period, Bill.
The chances have really been few and far between, but the best Vancouver chance just came with Hunt and Cloud combining, and Cloud just shooting that puck. I believe it was a little bit wide. This is in front of the net. There's right there. That's that puck just goes over top, or it looked like it was going over the top of the net. You know, I just think that's another good save this Mark Friesen kid made. He's been very, very good in the nets for this Chilliwack Bruin team. And for a team like Jim Hiller, his team has got 1 win, 2 losses, and a shootout loss to Vancouver. So they've only played the 4 exhibition games. Don Hayes' team 4-1-1 on the exhibition season. They're finished after tonight. Jim Hiller's team's got 1 more to go tomorrow.
Bruins have called a timeout here to talk things over. Also will want to make a change after that icing had occurred inside their blue line. You're allowed to do that when you burn a timeout. They'll throw out the following 5 skaters. Holden and Chapman on D. Potter, Smuck, Kolhanek up front. Donné will counter with the line of Henry, Wright, and Boma. Deep pairing behind them, Berube and Regner. Draw one by Wright. Potter, though, then took it away from him. Bruins put it behind their own goal. Can they get possession to clear? No. Berube does a good job to pinch in deep and keep it in the corner. Berube trying to kick it free off the end boards. Does, but it came to Chapman's stick. Wheeling behind his own goal. Dylan Chapman will backhand it off the glass and clear it all the way down ice. This will not be an icing call with 25 to go in regulation. Regner and Potter tied up down low to the right corner of Kramer Barnstable. Referee Kirk wanting to get it free. They can't, so he'll blow play down, and now the all-important draw comes into the Giants' end with 15.8 seconds left.
Joey, I don't know what Jim Hiller drew up on the board, but I can tell you one thing. If this was anything about what's supposed to happen in this situation, it worked. Look at the scrum in that corner, how neatly the Chilliwack Bruins, Dylan Chapman, comes away with that puck and so safely protects it with that big body and just dumps it out of there into neutral ice area. That's the way to play in the last 20 seconds of a game.
Bruins win a draw. Michael Proudly in the slot. Can't get a shot off. Vancouver will clear. This will not be an icing. 8 seconds to go before sudden death overtime. Bruins will be content just to rag it in their own zone. Holden nearly gave it away to Hunt, but the time will expire, and for the second straight time between these two teams, the Giants and Bruins will go to overtime. 6-3 shot clock in favor of the Giants that period, Bill.
Well, 6 for Vancouver for a total of 28. Chilliwack with those 3 shots with a total of 16. I do think that Don Hay and his team will be quite happy with the fact they've played the 3 periods here and only given up 16 shots on goal, and really not a ton of great quality scoring chances. But Jim Hiller, on the other hand, has to be happy with the way his teams perform. I think in a tough building to play in.
Well, the turning point of the game was, as you mentioned, the 5-minute penalty kill by Chilliwack in the final period. Kevin Boudelier kicked out of the game on a boarding major when he ran Craig Cunningham into the corner boards. And the Giants want to finish off this preseason on a winning note, Bill. They have had great success over the past 3 years in exhibition play. As mentioned, in 22 consecutive games, they've only lost once in regulation. That was their last game against the Kelowna Rockets. And Don Hay trying to draw up some plays here when it's 4-on-4 hockey in a couple of moments.
Well, try to figure that one out. Glad his team can. Lots of circles. By the way, you see the absence of Craig Bonner on the bench, assistant coach for the Vancouver Giants. He's on a scouting trip back east. I think he's in Swift Current, Prince Albert, in that area. And I know the papers in Vancouver have mentioned that when Craig Marner goes away on a scouting trip, sometimes a trade is manufactured in that situation. We'll have to wait and see when he comes back. But yeah, you're right. It's sudden death overtime. It is 4-on-4. Good crowd here tonight in Ladner. You know, sometimes, Joey, after a game like tonight for Vancouver, what's today, Friday night? They've got a long week to work before they open up next week. Sometimes these players get a little antsy, want to get started a little bit quicker. I don't know. I think it's a good thing to go through your exhibition schedule and then have, you know, a week of practice. I think Don Hay, as we've mentioned many times, probably uses that as well as anybody.
All right, let's get set for sudden death. 4-on-4 overtime. Giants, Bruins tied 2-2. As the Giants start James Henry, Garrett Hunt, Brent Regner, Mike Berube on the ice. Chilliwack countering with Colby Kalanick, Jaden Potter, Nick Holden, and Matt McHugh. And on it at center for the Giants is Hunt. Nice feed up the left wing to Henry. Winds up, fires, blocked down by the diving McHugh. Puck is underneath them. Now it pops free to the end wall. After it for the Giants is Henry. Henry kicking it free to the corner for Hunt. Hunt couldn't get it away though from Potter. And the Bruins move it out to center. Kalanick up the left wing, trying to get it on goal. It's deflected down by Berube's stick to the end boards. Regner retrieving with some time. Leaves it off to the stick of Hunt. He'll gain the red line. Snap it in deep. And Vancouver will make a full-scale change. A minute gone here in the overtime session. Braden Metz coming clean to center. Hits the Giant zone. Metz can't get around Neil Manning. And Evander Kane will quickly sweep it out of his own zone and force the Bruins back into their own territory. Cody Smuck passing off to D-man Chapman. Returning for Smuck. Left wing at center. Slides it down ice. Smuck can't get around Valek. Kane with it on a backhand. Gets it to his forehand and will flip it off the glass. Bruins see Chapman roll it back the other way, and Jim Hiller will have a chance to throw some fresh legs over the boards from that Bruins bench. Manning to center. Up the right side, can he get it to right? Yes, right across the line. Then is stripped off the disc by the veteran forward Glennie. Bruins regain control. Proudly up the left side, crossing the Giants line. Forces it in deep. Manning had it, gave it away though to Glennie. Glennie getting control, spins off the left side. Can he get it to the line? Yes, but it's intercepted on the way to by Wright. Vancouver regains possession. 2:45 to go here in OT. Here's Brent Regner leading a rush up the right wing. Wrist shot stopped on the blocker's side by Friesen. And the Bruins quickly counter back to center. It's Glennie fanning on a wrist shot. Puck will go back down ice into the Giants' corner. On it for Vancouver now, and weaving his way to center ice is Lyndon Sipe. He'll tap it back in deep. Bill, the last time these two teams played in overtime, there wasn't a single whistle or a single shot on goal. We've already had a shot on goal, at least. We haven't had any stoppages.
Yeah, there's 2:13 left, too. Oh, it's so interesting for me to see how these teams try to activate their defense.
Now we're going to get a whistle as it's an icing call here against the Bruins. And that's pretty good back and forth action for nearly 3 minutes of play here in overtime.
Yeah, I thought Vancouver did a nice job there. I think it was Wright and Bowman that dragged that puck inside their own blue line. They waited just in time to set Brent Regner free. He joined the rush, got that puck all the way up the ice. Yeah, 2:04 left now. You see the score. You see what period we're in there, folks. Face-off, Chilliwack zone.
Face-off won by the Bruins. McHugh outlets it for Smuck. Skating into center. Gives it away to Henry. And he'll tap it back down ice. Holden. Skating hard out of his own end. Will lead it up the left side for Braden Metz. Into the Giants zone. Braden Metz dodges a hit. Comes into the slot. Then is stick checked nicely by Mike Berube, who he had initially gotten around. Berube makes a good play to retrieve the puck. Dylan Scholten now for Vancouver. Up the left wing at center for Henry. Puts it back into the Bruins territory, and Vancouver again will make a change. 1:25 to go here in OT. Boma nearly brought it in offside for Vancouver, still maintains control. Now takes it up the right side into the Chilliwack end. Lance Boma, can he get it to a teammate? No, but he got it himself into the slot, then took a spill, gave it away to McHugh. He'll bring it to the red line. Can he backhand it down ice? Yes, he can, as the Bruins make changes on the goal. 2-2 the score between Vancouver and Chilliwack, with now 1 minute to play here in overtime. And the Giants are whistled down on the offside call. Boma a half stride in early ahead of Evander Kane.
What's impressed me in this overtime is how well both teams are checking in spite of all the room on the ice. You know, you've taken a man off from each team. You're playing 4-on-4, and yet there's a terrific commitment to defense. But you know the difference a guy like Santorelli, Moeller would make to the Chilliwack Bruins, or Regner, or Repik right now for Vancouver, even Mahachek or Lucic. The skilled players love this 4-on-4 stuff.
Giants have possession in the Bruins' end. Berube at the left point is pressured by Potter. He'll flip it into the corner for Wright. Wright tapping it to Cloud. Back to Wright. Back to the line for Berube. Returning to Wright. Left face-off dot. Can't get a shot off, though. 35 to go in OT. Wright coming off the wall to the crease for Cloud. Backhander denied by Friesen. And then Regner knocks one of the Bruins to the ice, and that's going to draw a bit of a crowd here with 30.3 seconds to play. I don't know if we're going to have penalties issued here or not. It looks like we might, Bill.
Watch James right here, right here. That's it, 19 White. Watch him give himself time and space. That big reach. Look, gets away from the first check. Now he's able to look around. He's still got that big reach there and gets that puck to the front of the net there. And the goaltender has to make a pretty good save, as you see Vancouver Giants Chris Cloud trying to get involved in play. But that guy right there, some people talk about him being a little bit like a Jonathan Taves in terms of his skating, his stick handling, and his handling the puck.
A penalty has been called here against Brent Regner, and this for the infraction after the whistle. Chilliwack finishes off OT on the 4-on-3 man advantage.
30 seconds left.
As here they come to center ice. McHugh on the puck, slams it in deep. Barnstable can't stop it behind the goal. Luckily for him, Balika's there, and he'll whistle it all the way back into the Bruins' end. 13 seconds. One more rush for Chilliwack here in OT. McHugh across the line, turns it over to Balak, and he'll chip it cleanly out of his own zone. Bruins gather it back at center. Potter will have time run down, and folks, we're heading to a shootout. An entertaining way to finish off what's been a very entertaining preseason for the Giants. They earn a point here at home through 65 minutes. They'll go looking for 2 in the shootout against the Bruins.
Kramer Barnstable, the goalie there, split the duties tonight. Jamie Tucker started. Barnstable finished it off.
Following overtime, we
for the
will
Chilliwack
settle
Bruins,
this contest
it's been strictly Mark Friesen
by way of a shootout.
Now, Julie, you may be able to enlighten even me on this. Now, I think is the change not in the shootout this year that the home team can decide whether to shoot first or not?
Yes, absolutely. That is indeed the case. And you know what? I've always been of the opinion that if you can be the first shooter, take it.
Yeah,
you want to put the pressure on your opponents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, will Don Hay elect to do that here? We should mention that when these two teams had the shootout at Prospera Center in Chilliwack a few weeks ago, Jim Hiller decided, no, Vancouver, you have the first shot. Vancouver wound up winning that game. Kramer Barnstable had the victory that night, and he will be in goal again here in the shootout for the Giants. And it looks like Vancouver will decide to take the first shot against Mark Friesen.
Very solid hockey game here in terms of work ethic for both teams. Commitment to play without the puck, to check, to take away time and space. There has been very, very little room for players to operate on the ice. I think both coaching staffs be very, very happy with that. Now, you get a case where it really isn't much to do with what you've done in the first 65 minutes. Everything's reduced, you know, to a skill game of simply one-on-one against the goaltender. I don't like it, never have liked a shootout, and I don't care who wins it.
We should mention, in overtime, the Giants did outshoot Chilliwack 3-0, so the final shot clock, if they had one in this building, tonight would read Vancouver 31, Chilliwack 16. Don Hay will be very, very happy with that. But the goaltenders will be called upon in a big way here now into overtime. Kramer Barnstable for Vancouver and Mark Friesen for the Bruins.
And you can see who's taking the first shot. It is James Wright.
James Wright will indeed be the first shooter for the Giants. He's had a very good game as he'll go one-on-one against Mark Friesen. James Wright comes between the circles to the backhand, shoots and scores.
Clever forehand, backhand. I think he just puts it between the legs of the goalkeeper. As it just go over his pad. You'll get a good look here. Forehand, backhand, 5-hole goal.
Nick Holden, who will wear the captaincy for Chilliwack this year, is the Bruins' first shooter. Coming into the Giants and against Barnstable. Holden to the forehand, denied on a great pad stop by Kramer Barnstable.
Interesting that Nick Holden would be a shooter simply because he's a defenseman. He had 7 goals last year as a defenseman, has the ability to score in this situation. Notice how he comes in wide, tries to get Barnstable to spread the legs, and he's denied. Now it's Chris Cloud.
Cloud one-on-one against Friesen, into the hash marks with a shot. Good glove save by the Bruins puck stopper.
Well, you give the goaltender the deke on the first play, and this time Chris Cloud tries to go upstairs, just doesn't get it up under the crossbar. That glove is exactly in the right spot.
Michael Proudly, the next shooter for Chilliwack, going wide right into the zone. Proudly shot, denied on the glove save by Barnstable.
That's the guy I was telling you about earlier. 1 goal all of last year. It was an overtime winner in Red Deer. Now you get a look at the shot. This could be all over here if Evander Kane puts this puck in the net.
Evander Kane, first-round Bantam draft pick of the Giants, can seal the victory with a goal. Here he comes against Friesen. Kane to the forehand, denied on a good pad stop by Mark Friesen.
Joe, you know what I liked on this? Did you see that nice little burst of acceleration right about here? He gets going right hard right there. And he tries to go wide, but that's just a great pad save by the guy that I think is going to be the backup goaltender for Chilliwack this year.
Jaden Potter has to score to keep the shootout alive for Chilliwack. Potter against Barnstable, between the circles to the backhand, off the glove side of Barnstable, and the Giants will come and celebrate the 3-2 shootout victory here against the Chilliwack Bruins.
You know, it's the glove save. If you don't get that puck up high underneath the crossbar, you have very, very little chance to beat the goaltender. You watch on this play as Potter, I don't know if we can have a look at it, he gets it about halfway up. It's right where the goaltender holds his glove. Barnstable makes a nice save, but he gets a little help, and that puck doesn't go up as high as it should. Have a look here, Joey. Watch this. Watch the goaltender Barnstable's glove on the left-hand side. He's got it positioned right there, and he just gets a piece of it, deflects it over top of the net, and he's got that glove in exactly the right spot.
Stick around. We've got lots to talk about as the Giants are going to celebrate this shootout victory. Steve Erickson at ice level, I believe, will be planned to be joined alongside James Wright in a few moments, or maybe Garrett Hunt. I think he will be talking with Garrett Hunt in a few moments' time, as it looks like he is ready to go right now. Let's throw it down to ice level right now, where Steve Erickson is joined by the most inspirational player from the Giants lineup last season, wearing an assistant's A in his jersey tonight, Garrett Hunt. Steve, take it away.
Thanks very much, Joey. Garrett, nice game, but I didn't expect it to go in overtime like that.
Oh, I know we gave up some bad penalties there, and we were on the PK most of the game, so we just got to come out and be smarter and just be more under control during the game there.
Coming off an injury from last year, how's the leg doing?
It's excellent. It's feeling great after the preseason and that, and every tournament. It's just feeling a lot. It's like 100%.
Did you have to do anything special to get it back in top shape?
Just insane training all summer long.
Okay, Garrett, we're going to let you go and get Mr. Barnstable in, the coach over. We're going to step in and get one more in right now real quick. Hey, nice game. Good job.
Thanks.
Quick question for you. What were you thinking on the last shooter?
I was just thinking stay with them all the way and don't make the first move.
Got to be happy the way training camp went?
Yeah, it is. It's gone really good for me so far.
Good man. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right,
thanks. We'll go back upstairs to Joey and Bill.
Thanks very much, Steve. As Kramer Barnstable, although he won't factor into the 3 stars tonight here in the building, comes up when he needs to. And at the other end of the rink, the goaltender Mark Friesen showed very well, Bill, between the pipes for the visiting Bruins.
Interesting battle, as we said earlier, for the backup goaltending job to Tyson Sexsmith. I thought both goaltenders, Tucker and Barstable, played well. But Joey, you know, Garrett Hunt, he's wearing that letter A right now. And two things. Number one, I think the fact that his team came out as spirited as they did may have an effect, or maybe a factor on his presence in the lineup tonight. The other thing is, if this team is not playing the disciplined hockey that Don Hay will want, maybe it's a guy like Garrett Hunt that has to get those guys focused. I'll tell you right now, a guy like Tim Krause, as valuable as he is, just for one, he can't be, you know, thrown out of this hockey game. Garrett Hunt, a good choice.
You know, when you think about it, this game featured a little bit of everything, didn't it? You had power play goals, you had fights, you had a shootout. What else could you have asked for with a nice way to wrap up the WHL exhibition campaign for the defending Memorial Cup champs, Bill?
Solid. I think in every area it was entertaining, and that's what the WHL really is all about. That's why the Western Hockey League draws the fans that they do, over 1 million every year, and it's because you see this kind of action all season long, right from the 16-year-olds to the veteran 20-year-old hockey players. I thought it was a very good performance for the last exhibition game from Vancouver.
And the Giants cap off the preseason with a 3-2 shootout victory over Chilliwack. 5 wins through 7 preseason games. Not too shabby heading into the regular season. That'll do it for Bill and I here in the broadcast booth. Let's throw it down to ice level for one more chat from our own Steve Erickson. Steve, take it away.
Thanks very much, Joey and Bill. A great job, as usual, by the two men that travel with the Vancouver Giants all season long. As Joey mentioned, a 3-2 shootout victory for the Vancouver Giants. The final exhibition game here in Ladner before they start the regular season. Regular season, the home opener for the Vancouver Giants, September the 29th at the Coliseum. That is going to be exceptional hockey, playing against our good buddies up from the interior, the Kelowna Rockets. Come on out and support them. Don't forget the Memorial Cup champions, the defending Memorial Cup champions, Vancouver Giants. We're looking for bigger and better things from them this year because they're going to have an exceptional crew on board to take this out. I want to thank everybody behind the scenes to put this broadcast on, especially those with Delta Cable. All you for watching, and if you enjoy it, you enjoy hockey, come on out and take more of these games in throughout the course of the season. On behalf of Joey, Bill, I'm Steve Erickson. Thanks very much for watching. Good night from Ladner, BC.
Welcome to Delta Cable Television Community Programming. DCTV serves the areas of North Delta, Ladner, Tawasin, and Point Roberts. Our goal is to provide informative, entertaining, and educational programming, highlighting the people and events in our areas. If you would like any information regarding community television or would enjoy today's community...
Shortened version, all due to traffic problems. We're joined by Guy Jetner. Guy is the MVP MLA for Delta North. First off, nice to see us both sitting in traffic at the same time.
Yeah, it's a way of life in Delta, I guess, Steve.
It is, but I guess the ultimate question is, with the traffic problems that we're faced with, is there a solution to that, or an easy solution?
Well, you know, the problem in many ways, you know, we as suburbanites, we leave the city to escape it, but invariably we bring it with us as well. It's an issue that it's always been part of Delta. There are ways to mitigate it, but I believe tonight's problem was off of the tunnel through the 99. It wasn't necessarily off of 17 or Delta Port, but it's unfortunate. There's ways to mitigate it. There's some solutions that we should talk about.
It's not going to get better quicker, I guess, is the easiest way. But speaking of traffic, what's the status with the perimeter road? Because that's just a nightmare. I watch the traffic going through North Delta all the way down the roads all the time, and the people are getting very frustrated with the truck traffic.
Very frustrated, but you know, and when you look at the global situation, we just opened up the Northern Corridor up at Prince Rupert. It's to relieve some of the problems here. We know that, of course, the Panama Canal is going to be finished its expansion, I believe, in 5 or 6 months, which will double the capacity for port movements in Louisiana, etc. How that's going to affect movements out of here, we don't know. The South Fraser Prim Road, you know, we're hearing maybe 2013, 2012. The minister it's the largest project of its kind in the history of the province. Over $440 million in land acquisition itself. So it's no easy task, and when you start assembling land, it takes a while.
Yeah, it does indeed. Just a reminder, if you want to give a guy a call, give us a call. You can talk to him, ask him about some questions, concerns. You've been a busy man the last little while. You recently introduced a private member's bill in the legislature to eliminate the expiry date on gift cards due to situations, and that wasn't without a lot of concern either.
Yeah, you know, we're looking at, in the province of British Columbia, about $80 million a year in gift cards that are not retained or recovered. That's one heck of a windfall. It just seems to me when you shell that kind of money, why is there an expiry date on it? You sell gift cards because of patronage. You have people to sell, and they're part of your customer base. But frankly, I think Ontario, Manitoba, and there's another one, I think Nova Scotia, has a limited expiry dates, as well as 26 states south of the line. So I can't, you know, it just seems to me that it's in good keeping from consumer protection to deal with that one.
You get a lot of heat from the Liberals over that one?
No, actually, many have supported me, of course, not unofficially. I've talked to the Solicitor General, who's the advocate for consumer protection, and they're heavily lobbied by the Retailers Association, of course, so they don't quite see it the same way as I do.
We've had major concerns over the last while. We all go out, you and I go out, as do a lot of the people in the province, and we buy money, spend our money for gift cards, and I'm talking like 649 BC lotteries. And of course, the Lottery Commission has not been without controversy the last little while. Firing, you know, just with something, the CEO of the BC Lottery Commission. Do you think they went far enough with that, or could they have gone farther?
There's systemic problems with the BC Lottery Corporation. I'll give you an example. There's lots of junkets in the world. Mr. Poleshchuk went on a safari 2 years ago. Cost you and me a lot of money. So it's one of those. It's a monopoly based on people's dreams and hopes. And of course, at $2 billion total revenue stream, it's a winner. But you're looking at major addiction problems within the BC Lottery Corporation. And of course, retail fraud was another major issue. And we need proper oversight in that corporation. And I really believe it should be removed from the Solicitor General. The Solicitor General is the police officer of gaming. And at the same time, he's in charge of making money for the Lottery Corporation. I think the Lottery Corporation should be moved from the policing aspect, maybe perhaps for the Ministry of Finance.
So you're sort of wearing two hats and dealing with both issues.
He is, and I think hopefully some changes will be made. I know that when or if we make government, 2009, we would certainly look at doing a transition.
I've often thought, you know, they have the lottery, we spend money and as you say, hopes and dreams that we're going to win the big lottery and the big jackpot so we can retire and virtually do anything that we want to. I've often thought that if you've got a $5 million jackpot or a $20 million jackpot, instead of giving it to one person, break it up and give it, you know, different portions to different people. So that I think that would be better off for the economy because now you're getting more people spending money.
I played the lottery like anybody else. Some people call it a stupid man's tax. Other people call it a poor person's tax. It's based on dreams and loss of hope. So, you know, I think it's expansion in gambling, I think, is something we should go in a check. We're seeing huge expansion, of course, in the casino side of things. And, you know, I've got grave concerns. The Premier had made mention way back in 2002 that they would put a cap on the expansion in gaming, and it's almost doubled in the last 6 or 7 years.
You got our first caller on the line. Mike, good evening. Thank you very much for calling, and thanks for being patient with us.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my call.
Not a problem.
MLA Gentner, I'm just wondering, out of curiosity, would you consider at all coming back into municipal politics?
Come back into municipal politics? We were talking about that.
Well, I don't have feed. I can't hear you, Mike. I heard it was Mike. What was the question again?
He wants to know whether you consider coming back into municipal politics.
Well, I guess in politics you never say never, but I have to tell you, Mike, I'm very much enjoying the political side of the provincial. The reason being is when I was in municipal politics, the government doesn't seem to listen to Delta. It seems to me we have John Cummins, who's somewhat of a maverick for good reason. Myself, I'm in trouble once in a while with my party based on the TFN ALR issues. It just seems to be the way of Delta. We are this depository of development and the lack of strategic planning. And whatever you do in municipal politics, it seems to me the senior levels of government aren't listening. So hopefully I can make my voice of Delta heard on the provincial side.
Interesting, before we go to our next caller, interesting to note that Carol James has actually said that you were one of the 2 other rebel leaders, yourself and Corky Evans, of course, Corky Evans from Nelson Creston, and yourself because of the caucus decision about the vote. So that's coming from your leader.
Well, when I ran in 2005, I made a commitment to my supporters that I would put my community ahead of partisan politics. I am a New Democrat because I believe that to achieve my vision of British Columbia and how Delta fits in it, that's the best path for me. For others, may choose a different path. But I'm still within the caucus, and we're working towards 2009.
Oh, that's good. We're going to go to Grant, our next caller on the line for you. Grant, good evening. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Yes, Grant.
Oh, Mr. Gentner, I don't know what connection, if any, you have with the BC Human Rights Tribunal, but you obviously have heard of it. My question is this, and I preface it with the remark that in Supreme Court, it seldom takes more than 2 months to get a judgment out of a court. The BC Human Rights Tribunal, in one case of which I am completely aware, has taken more than 10 months to make up its mind, and it still hasn't. Is there anything? I'm not trying to influence the tribunal's decision, except to get them to make a decision. Now, do you think 10 months is too long?
I don't know the circumstances, but I would concur. My understanding, if I look at the budgets, I haven't looked at this issue for about a year. The budget was slashed 3-4 years ago, and unfortunately there's a backlog, and they have to be very selective of what cases they take on. And some of the times you were looking, I believe it's almost only 10%. But I could be wrong on that one. I've talked to people within that tribunal side, and they say they're underfunded.
Well, my point, sir, is that they've already taken the case on. They took it on in 2005.
Yes.
And the file, if you want to jot the number down, is file number 2756. This is the beef about whether or not men should get prostate tests for free when women get mammograms for free. And the last evidence was heard, and the last argument was heard in November of last year, which brings us down to about 10 months, when if the thing had been taken in Supreme Court, the decision would have been handed down by now.
Could you do me a favor and phone my office?
Certainly.
597-1455.
597-1455.
Yeah, we can sit down and work something here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, thanks very much, Grant. Now, we talked about you being one of the rebel caucus members, which is, I don't know, we all get labeled with different things. That's nothing unique, because I fully agree with you. You said you want to get involved in politics for the betterment of the constituents, and you've got to go with what they say. Have you heard from anybody in the North area?
I spent my summer knocking on doors. That's when I was involved with municipal politics. That's all I did, and I'm proud to say I spent less money in the last provincial election than any other elected politician. I spent $28,000, and that included in kind. And the reason being is the best way to reach people is at the doorstep. People are busy with their lives. Volunteerism is hard to find. And to confront people on the doorstep is my way of doing it. And so yeah, what I hear from people is people are very complimentary. They feel that North Delta, because of traffic, obviously, big issue. Now the biggest issue that at the doorstep I'm hearing is health care. Really? Yeah, I was quite surprised. The biggest caseload in my office is workers' compensation.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. I hear that from a lot of people about the concerns about WCB. Yeah. You know, and that doesn't really surprise me. So we talked about the issues. What's the status with the vote coming up for the treaty?
That's something we don't know yet. I know if the Liberal government follows the tradition of the Nisga'a, there was about 8 weeks of debate during the Nisga'a Treaty, during the, I guess, the Harcourt Glenn Clark days. We're hearing the government may want to ram this through sort of as a quick ratification vote, yay or nay. I'm hopeful we're going to see a clause-by-clause analysis of the treaty itself, some of which, when it comes to vote getting or the governance structure, should be debatable, the fisheries, and above all, the provincial interest is that of the Agricultural Land Reserve which portions close to 500 acres will be removed. So hopefully that'll be on the floor. And I, along with Carol James, have come to an agreement where if we come to clause by clause, I'll be voting against sections relative to removal of ALR in the treaty.
But you're just not going to avoid the whole vote?
We'll see when that happens, Steve.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll hold you to that. We're going to go to Karen, our next caller in the line. Good evening, Carol, and thanks for calling.
Well, I just tuned in about 10 minutes ago, and I'm a little disappointed in the fact that Mr. Gentner is painted as a rebel or as an oddball in politics.
No, I never said oddball.
Just the people who are the oddballs and the big disappointments in politics are the ones who are not like Mr. Gentner and Mr. Cummins. Those are the big disappointments. Those are not an inspiration to our youth as politicians. I really just wanted to thank Mr. Gentner for standing up for us. It's such a rare commodity in the political field, and I hope that you continue to do that. Not only are you going to get reelected because it's this kind of guts that we need in the political sphere, and we don't need any more of the gutless lemmings that fill our parties on both sides. The big disappointment I have in the NDP is that it's not filled with more people like Mr. Gentner, and for that reason that party's not going to get anywhere. And we're going to have to put up with more people who disappoint us on the political field. On the Liberal side, we have to put up with just being powerless as individuals because we have politicians who just override us, don't consider what we feel. This is not democracy.
Nope.
I had no question. I just wanted to make that statement, and thank you, Mr. Gentner.
Thanks, Karen. That's a good call, Karen, because the one thing that people do want is they want honest politicians. They don't like people that beat around the bush and basically, as you know, like the kids say, they just don't want somebody to BS you. They want to know. And the term, just so you know, Karen, the term that I had indicated to earlier on, where it says as that he's painted as a rebel, that comes right off the NDP website. That's stipulated right there. It says Carol James says the two other rebels, MLA Corky Evans and Guy Gentner, will respect the NDP caucus decision on the treaty anyway. So this is right off the website. It's nothing that I didn't put out in paint because I get along with Guy. We haven't had any fistfights to speak of anyway right now.
Well, you should see some of the caucus meetings. We have a lot of fights
It's
there.
quite interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Also on the table right now is the concern, possibility that discussions might be going around about raising the minimum wage.
Yeah, to $10. I think it's quite reasonable.
From the 8?
Yeah, from the 8. I think it's, you know, the economy being the way, and the cost of living, it's just so prohibitive. I don't know how youngsters can run around $6 or $8, let alone $6 for the training first 6 months. I just don't understand it. I mean, to go downtown to get on the SkyTrain, January 1st, it's going up another 50 cents for 3 zones. And if you park a car, you're looking at $12 one day, every day to go to work. I don't know how anybody at $10 an hour, then that's gross, how you can expect to make a living. I don't get it at all.
So if you get 3 zones and you're going during the daytime into Vancouver, it's going to basically cost you $4.75 each way.
It's going up $5. It's $4.50 now. It's going to go up 50 cents. Yeah, and of course the parking went up from $1 to $2.
Yeah, it's got road
so
station.
it's $12 every day to go to work. It's ludicrous. We should, if we're talking about needing subsidy for travel for people to and work, yeah, maybe we should go into concrete, but above all, we should get those transit systems working and getting people out of the cars and going to work at a timely manner.
Well, the frustrating part with that is there's no incentive to ride them.
There is no incentive, and we need a surplus of buses in order to get people on the buses and working. In North Delta, we have gridlock. If you know anything about 72nd Avenue going to work, you can't move. The buses at the 312, it goes up 112, can't move. It's in gridlock form, so you're waiting for a bus, trying to go to SkyTrain, and invariably what you do is you unfortunately get in your car and drive to work or go to Scott Road Station, but it's not working. Transit's not working south of Fraser.
You just talked about 72nd, and I didn't know until the other day, so obviously there could not have been a lot of notification given out about it, but there's actually a bus lane down 72nd now.
Q Jumpers bus, HOV lanes,
yeah,
that's in the morning going westbound, and of course in the evening going eastbound, I believe, as well. That's been in discussion mode for a long, long time. The problem is 72nd Avenue, you can make it 4 lanes or 6 lanes, it's still going to be a parking lot. With the 2 lanes, you do meter the traffic, but for people in North Delta to try and even go left, southbound, on 112 to 72nd, it's almost virtually impossible early in the morning.
Would the problems on 72nd have been more simplified if the school wasn't there?
Well, the school, Delta, when I was in council, we talked about overpasses, pedestrian overpasses. Right. There's discussion as well as an overpass over Cougar Canyon there as well. There is a need to purchase some properties, acquire properties to make it work. Another discussion was a cut and cover proposal for 72nd. And if you're to do something like that, you're looking in probably about a $60 to $100 million acquisition and buyout in order to make it work.
And that's pretty expensive when you look at
expenses, particularly if Delta's going to pick it up. If it was a cost share agreement, particularly with the GVRD and the province, maybe Delta could come to the table.
We're coming down the road the closer we get down the road, we're coming towards the Olympics. Everybody says that, depending on who you talk to, we could be on budget, we could be over budget. That's got to be a big concern, and from what I'm hearing from people out of the area of the Lower Mainland and Whistler, their biggest comment is, what good are the Olympics going to do to us in Terrace or Grand Forks or Trail or Kitimat?
Well, we're over budget. The convention center, it is related. Started off with a $416 million budget. It's now skyrocketed close to $1 billion. It's more than double plus contingencies. The security is about $300 million. It's not even in the budget yet. What is the budget? What is the benefits to those outside of the Lower Mainland? I guess it would be one of the legacies. Your guess is as good as mine, Steve, where we're going to be for a 3-week party. I'm a booster. I believe in Olympics. So we have many good athletes in Delta. We have one gal who's a bronze medalist in ladies junior figure skating. But you get closer and talk to her, it's costing her father $30,000 to $40,000 a year just to get the ice time. So it's a big ticket item. It's costly for everybody.
Yeah, it is, and we all know that figure skating, no different from other sports, can be very, very costly nowadays, and it all continues to go up, and the parents are the ones that have to absorb it. Yeah. And you see so many families now, they're going out and they're working 2 or 3 different jobs just to subsidize what the kids want to do. Recently, we've just been inundated with problems, concerns about train derailments. Mm-hmm. This is something that the province obviously has to look at.
The train derailments, particularly CN, standards were changed from the provincial BCR to when it was bought out by CN, which is following different guidelines by the feds. Longer trains with greater grids is being problematic, and Transport Canada hopefully will resolve it. But the derailment seems to be the order of the day, and we need stricter oversight on that as well. Of course, the biggest train story is going to be Deltaport and the Bassey-Verk trial, which is still undergoing. Hopefully we'll see it again reaching some conclusion next March.
Do you think all the problems with the trains was in part due to the sale?
It just seems to me that we didn't see the same derailments when it was a BCR.
Did we not see them, or did we just not hear about them?
We didn't see them. I didn't see a whole ecosystem of the upper Squamish wiped out as we do today. I think we're through the profit motive, we're putting more pressure on the trains and we're compromising safety.
Yeah, indeed they are, because we're hearing anyway that there's more trains, more cars being pulled. That naturally has to affect the safety of the whole thing.
Absolutely, and train movements is it's absolutely a must if we're into the Asia Pacific movement of goods. Building more roads may have got me here and you here early today, but it's not necessarily going to be the catch-all for all the Pacific trade running through Delta.
No, indeed. Vancouver, City of Vancouver, they've still got their labor problems and major concerns. Is this not something that maybe I know they're looking for a mediator right now. Is this not something that the government could have got involved in sooner?
I think so. I think we're quite blessed in Delta with a culture, with the mayor and the administration, and of course the union here. We've been working well together. They have their negotiating positions here and there to make a point, but it's a different culture here than in Vancouver. Vancouver is very stressful. You're seeing a lot of new development, and you're seeing gentrification, people moving out of cities, there's quite a huge ghetto population there, very much distinguished, I won't say class warfare, but it's a very stressful politic in the city of Vancouver. Very different there than here. Here we seem to have somewhat calm and some complacency.
Depending on who you talk to, some people seem to think that maybe the city of Vancouver, maybe the workers are just, I don't know, they're a little bit headstrong. And when I spoke to Darryl Robinson, he was actually at the Giants game last week, spoke to Darryl, the president for CUPE in Delta, and Darryl said that the members in Delta, you know, they're happy, and as long as, you know, they can all work pretty cohesive, that's going to be fine. But like I say, Vancouver, some people are just saying, these guys, or they're just being militant, both sides.
Well, it goes both ways, doesn't it, with they call it Sam strike. I don't really see any compromise on the mayor's side of the ledger as well. You know, you got to remember that in the city of Vancouver, to own a house, it's about $850,000 in the east side alone. Now, you're raising a family and you're a CUPE worker. You know, at the salary you're making there, even what they negotiate, I don't see how you're going to be a homeowner there. I mean, that's the reality. Obviously, you live out here. Maybe you live out in Surrey. But that's one heck of a commute every day, probably an hour and a half. That takes away from your family time as well. So, you know, the issues there are quite a bit different than here in Sleepy Hollow Delta. There's some aspects here that we should very much welcome, because it's a great place to live, Delta.
It is. We should be very fortunate that we live in Delta and we don't have all the major problems of the major cities as they do. But do you think it's fair that people label it Sam? You know, they label it Sam strike. I mean, we didn't go through a problem here in Delta and say it's Lois's strike.
No, I guess, yeah, you have a point there. You have a point there, sure.
I mean, I just think that's sort of, you know, I know that he's the mayor and all that stuff, but they've got to understand that each side has negotiating people. I just think they should lock him in the room and say, settle this thing, and you don't come out, we'll feed you, we'll give you water, but you don't come out till this thing is settled. And one of the biggest problems that I've heard, and I think maybe it might work this way, if you took the negotiators from both sides, put them in a room, said you're going to solve this thing, but neither one of you are going to get paid until you get settled, the same as the workers, they might reach an agreement a little bit sooner.
Well, it's getting to the point of health, I think.
It is.
And you're quite right, Steve. I think I'm not one to binding arbitration, but I think hopefully cooler heads will prevail and they will get together at the table soon.
Well, all we can do is hope. We see last couple of days the BC ferries are on the news, and they're going to be in this big mega ferry back over to our part of the woods and going to put it in service. The cost is naturally going to be increasing on that one. Was it right to go abroad to purchase these?
Well, there's conflict.